Addressing the media in Accra on Sunday, October 20, 2024, the leader of the NDC caucus in Parliament, Dr. Kisolato Forson, assured Ghanaians that with their current numbers, they will initiate processes to abolish all taxes that they deem a nuisance and have overburdened Ghanaians.
The Speaker's declaration is that currently we no longer have an independent member of Parliament. The NPP has 135 members of Parliament only. The NDC has 136 members of Parliament, and there is no second Deputy Speaker of Parliament. We will jealously protect our new majority status and will not bow, retreat, nor surrender our lawfully earned status. Yes. We will also not abdicate our responsibility to the people of Ghana, no matter what. Any interference with the business of Parliament is unlawful, unacceptable, and shall be resisted. We will use our new majority numbers to benefit Ghanaians by introducing private members' bill to remove the e-levy and to reduce the suffering of the people of Ghana. Yes. It is also true that we will use our new majority to remove the betting tax and other nuisance taxes. Yes. We assure you that we will use our new majority to protect businesses and the people of Ghana, as we have always maintained. Right Honorable Alban Bagbin is a courageous and resolute leader. We stand with him, pledge our support, and urge him to protect the dignity and sanctity of the Parliament of Ghana. In the same vein, we call on Ghanaians to stand by the Speaker and resist oppressors' rule.
The Supreme Court has jurisdiction to make a declaration as to whether or not an act is consistent or inconsistent with a provision of the Constitution. But to suspend a decision of Parliament or a directive of the Speaker, we are not aware of the legal basis. We listen only to the Speaker and nobody else in relation to the integrity, the legality, and the appropriateness of what has happened in the chamber of Parliament.
Meanwhile, a member of the New Patriotic Party, Mr. Gabi Ochidakon, is urging Parliament to avoid chaos and anarchy during its session on Tuesday, October 22. Mr. Ochidakon on Sunday, October 20, in a Facebook post, called for calm amidst the growing political tension in the House following the Speaker's ruling that declared 4 parliamentary seats vacant. His comments follows a news conference on Sunday by the NDC caucus in Parliament, maintaining their stance and threatening to occupy the majority side on Tuesday, despite the court's order that stayed the Speaker's declaration. Speaker Bagben's decision sparked a standoff between the two sides, with the minority insisting they would take action during the upcoming parliamentary session. In response to the rising incidence of cybercrime, the Cybersecurity Authority has emphasized the need for training more skilled and ethical cybersecurity professionals to tackle breaches in the sector. At the second edition of the Cybersecurity Awareness Symposium organized by Accra Technical University, the leader of the National Computer Emergency Response Team of CSA, Mr. Sylvain Kujo, said concerted efforts to bridge the talent gap in the cybersecurity industry are essential for building a secure and resilient digital Ghana.
September, the authority had witnessed a number of reported cases of online fraud, shopping scams, WhatsApp hacks, investment scams, online blackmail, and cyberbullying. The World Economic Forum report in April identified that 4 million professionals are needed to address the gap in the cybersecurity industry. The report also pointed out that the shortage could hit around 85 million professionals by 2030, affecting a revenue loss of $8.5 trillion. At the second edition of the Cybersecurity Awareness Symposium organized by the Accra Technical University, leader of the National Computer Emergency Response Response Team of Cybersecurity Authority, Mr. Stephen Kujoseshi, acknowledged the troubling shortage of skilled cybersecurity professionals in the country, noting that even those available often lack critical expertise in artificial intelligence, cloud computing, incident response, and application security. He emphasized the increasing need for strong data privacy and protection measures, especially with the growing use of digital platforms and services across Ghana.
Awareness creation is one of our biggest tools. The thing is, when people are not aware of what these scams are like or how they are done, they tend to fall victim. So what we do on a monthly basis is that we create public alerts that we put out on our website, on our social media handles. We do radio and TV shows where we are able to explain.
Acting Vice Chancellor of the Accra Technical University, Professor Amevi Akakpovi, reiterated the school's commitment to prioritizing cybersecurity in response to the growing digital landscape in the country. He called for stronger measures to protect public data and foster public awareness, emphasizing the importance of compliance with Ghana's Data Protection Act, which faces enforcement challenges.
There is a need for educational institutions, especially at the tertiary level. There is a big role for us to play by developing training packages backed by the Cyber Security Authority to address some of the needs.
The symposium featured a panel of experts who discussed the need for inclusivity in cybersecurity education.
The presidential candidate of the NPP, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, says Ghana cannot afford to return to the era of doomsday, poor economic growth, cancellation of teacher and nursing training allowance, collapsed national ambulance service and national health insurance, and many other challenges former President John Mahama plugged the country into during his tenure. Addressing the people of Nkoko in the eastern region, Dr. Bawumia said the NPP government have turned the situation around in the last 8 years and have introduced the free SHS, Agenda 111, DRIP, drone for medical delivery and major road infrastructure across the country. Therefore, the NPP must be given a chance at the December polls to continue.
The possibility campaign trail of the NPP presidential candidate Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia was in the Nkoko constituency on Saturday. Dr. Bawumia and his team were at the constituency to garner support for the NPP in the upcoming presidential elections. Thousands of NPP supporters gathered at the grounds for the Community Connect to listen to Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Among Dr. Bawumia's team was the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Brian Champong. He urged the supporters to vote massively for the NPP because they have presented better policies to support Ghanaians.
Abana yeba betuno 2020 yenya 44,000. Yenya 44,000. Na di onyankopon eyi edi akire yeyi. Se wo free ha yenya ya adwin say ye di abano eko 60,000.
The NPP Member of Parliament for Ebuakwa South, Mr. Atachia, told the people to give the NPP majority in Parliament to avoid the current happenings in Parliament.
Aye NDC afadia o Jani December 7 abatuano. It was yeme to abano Parliament. Majority no in Parliament no ewamusam any bag some. Majority in Parliament,
The presidential candidate of the NPP, Dr. Bawumia, said any vote for the NDC is a return to doomsday.
Omampenyi dada de obaye yenyina ye hu ojuma oyeye yenyina ye hu leveler odigana kosi ye yenyina ye nimse obaye okase nnamne nyina asa na akadompe or the Ghana Echo don't pay level. The level no talk in power school not a problem. Don't pay level no teacher training allowance. Ochemu nursing training allowance. Ochemu national health insurance. Eguye National Ambulance Service eguye. Dompe level no yeda dum somo efie enai.
He said the NPP record in government in the last 8 years is unmatched.
Yeah, NPP for 2016 ye share Ghana for bo. Say omutumaya ye the Ghana beko upgrade. Ye the inshishe fufro beba na edim faswo aba. Ye ka say ye the free senior high school education ebaba Ghana. Ye ka say ye the free SHS eba no. Oh man penyi dada. O ka say ye dada Ghana for. Na ontimi asia. I say ya 419 yentiminya is not possible. And I can say nyami adom it is possible.
He appealed to the people to vote number 1 in both the presidential and parliamentary elections.
The NDC's presidential candidate, Mr. John Mahama, has defended the party's commitment in its 2024 manifesto to bolster small to medium-sized enterprises. Speaking at a rally in Ajay Kojo during his Resetting Ghana campaign tour of the Greater Accra region, Mr. Mahama announced plans to train 10,000 youths in various trades and provide them with material and financial support to enhance their contribution to the nation's economic recovery.
Highlighting the crucial role of SMEs in developed economies, Mr. Mahama expressed pride in the party's initiative, noting that many multinational corporations began as small businesses and grew with proper support. He dismissed the backlash, including criticism from the NPP's campaign advertisements, asserting that he remains undeterred in his mission to uplift local entrepreneurs.
10,000 young people, and we're going to support you to set up your own businesses. The other time, I said that if you wanted to be a baker, we'll help you with the equipment. What person to support? You have a phone no, you have a isam no, you have a sika. And I make say, I'm on per se be a poultry farm and I be. You have a cocoa bono. Near Mamma Cocobano, and this account would make them Cocobano. A 2 was your Benesica, your tongue and Cocona on Benesica. And you know, MPP for your advert. Say, Media America, and you man and you man get. But on him say everywhere in the world, baby or Becobia. Amaya Omedru, baby Omedru, I from advanced countries. And you market a kitty and I pay your Magodo. 80 years, almost big businesses for home. Omina ever bought near 24-hour economy. No, but see, I'm so a new market and kitty and pay your more. On my name, Kobibia. 80 years, we value the small and medium enterprises, and we're going to help the business people in the small and medium enterprise sector to be able to grow their businesses. Bless all of you. Thank you.
On the foreign front, the UK Home Office has confirmed that a record number of Ghanaians and Nigerians have been deported to their home countries on one flight, with 44 visibly removed on Friday. The news came as it emerged that any asylum seeker who arrive in Diego Garcia before a treaty between UK and Mauritius to hand back the cargo's island is finalized will be sent to St. Helena. The Home Office said the Ghana and Nigeria deportations were part of a major surge in immigration enforcement and returns. Since Labour came into power in July, more than 3,000 people have been returned to their various homes, including about 200 to Brazil and 46 on flight to Vietnam and Timor. Deportation flights to Ghana and Nigeria are relatively rare, with just 4 recorded since 2020, according to data released under Freedom and of Information rules. The previous flights had far fewer people on board, with 16 and 21 relatively. Friday's flights had more than double that number removed on single flights. And let's have the weather update for today, Monday. Fenyon from GNet giving us more updates for today's weather. Good morning, Felicity. How is our weather looking like for today?
Good morning, Valencia. The weather is looking pretty cool today. Good morning to our dear viewers and listeners in Ghana and across the globe. We expect it to be partly cloudy across the 16 region. We expect it to have a sunny interval. And then temperatures are expected to be between 31 and 33 for the southern sector. For the northern sector, we expect it between 33 and 35 degrees Celsius. In terms of rain, we expect a few areas within the southern sector to have some afternoon thunderstorms with possible some rain, especially those over the forest and parts of the coastal strip. In terms of the state of the sea, we expect it to remain calm today, so fisher folks can do navigations on the sea. For the water lakes will pretty cool, but then late afternoon into the evening hours, we expect some few cases of rain and thunder over their portion, and of which we will be updating them with our marine forecast at 10 if there need be for them to do night navigation.
Okay, thank you very much for that update. That was Felicity Hafenyo from GMED giving us that update for today's weather. Now let's have the winning Alpha Lotto numbers for Precise Sunday. The Alpha Lotto winning numbers for Precise Sunday: 71, 25, 40, 60, and 49. The Alpha Lotto winning numbers for Precise Sunday again: 71, 71, 25, 25, 40, 40, 60, 60, and 49, 49. Lot is happening on our breakfast show this morning. Don't go away after this break.
Liabgam sim nyala ban sha'dan pierna tamale kar mal bukata nim mina zamanu tambo zan janda til liabgam sim polo nawun
whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight oil. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby.
Today must be the 21st of October 2024. We have 47 days to election day, 77 days for the end of the Akufo-Addo and Bawumia term. In the news, MDC is claiming majority in parliament. Salifu Amwako defends his son in church. And you are welcome to the best way to wake up on a day like this. GTV Breakfast Show, my name is Kapwide. Good to have you here. If you want to get to us, comment on all the headlines that I'll be heading to deal with in the next hour. 055-556-1034. There was a vigil on Friday, really sad for those two girls who lost their lives in that terrible accident. All of a sudden, the Black Stars have found their shooting boots. All the goals that they didn't score against Sudan, they scored them against the various club teams. So Inaki was on the score sheet, scored twice. Jordan Ayew scored. Kudu scored and felled 3 people in one move. What's going on? What's the issue? Let me know. 055-556-1034. I am not alone. They are here with me. One of them is about to speak. Speak.
And if you're a Liverpool fan, well, today is a good day for you as well, because you were able to silence the noisemakers in the English Premier League, Chelsea, with a beautiful win over the weekend. But I'm here to tell you that 47 days to election day, and we are bringing you the CPP's manifesto in detail. What's their approach to deal with anti-corruption and governance, to deal with healthcare, to deal with education, to manage the economy as it stands now? On Manifesto Watch, don't miss my sit-down with the Convention People's Party a bit later. I am Altiti Saida Sadiq, but Jay is also here. And Jay, what's happening on your side?
Thank you so much, Maltiti. Good morning to you all. I'm a little surprised to be here this morning. Apparently, we are supposed to be on strike, but hey, it is what it is. It's good to see you on a Monday morning. And speaking about Kudu's failing levels of players when they play Tottenham Hotspur, we at Arsenal, we want him there. Yes. You know how the rivalry between Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur. If you can fail all those players, my goodness me, Charlie, we can do this. Yes, so we want him on the team. And that was also trending over the weekend. Lots of trending issues coming up on the social media corner. And of course, later on in the show, we wrap it up with an Afrofusion artist, Kojo Black, with songs like Gia. He has come into the mainstream. Let's find out more about him and enjoy his music. So that's what's up for the lifestyle segment this morning.
Okay, and if you wanted to get more information about the computer system that decides what school your child should go to, you get the juice right here on our show. Good to have you all. And keep smiling for us. Have you brushed your teeth? If you haven't, please go and brush your teeth. We have. Our breaths are fresh. We're ready for a fresh new day. Good morning, welcome. We've got health just around the corner. It's all about breast cancer and physiotherapy. You stick around, don't go anywhere. This is GTV Breakfast.
Welcome.
You're chilling in the rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight.
Got to the end of the story, but it was a quarrel between him and the monkey over a farm. So once upon a time, the monkey had a farm that he used to swing on branches to get to. And Anansi noticed that every morning, going from branch to branch in order to get to the farm. So he managed to chase the monkey's route, and then one day found the farm. And what Anansi did was, he created a path to the farm and started harvesting what the monkey had planted. And so one day, obviously, the monkey was pissed off, like, wait, why are you harvesting my crops? Took him to the chief's palace and said, you know what, he has to be punished. And Anansi was so calm. He was like, it's my farm. And the monkey is like, what do you mean it's your farm? And it's like, yes, I created a path to the farm. It's like, that's the path I use to the farm. How do you get to the farm? And now the monkey had to now say, oh, I swing from branch to branch, stuff like that. And at the end of the day, everybody saw the path, clear evidence that this is what Anansi uses to the farm. And they were like, you know what, perhaps the farm belongs to Kwaku Anansi. And so if you know the ending of that story, how Anansi came out of that, please let me know. But for me, that's how I know Anansi won. And speaking of that, it lends into our African proverb for today, speaking about lawsuits. Sometimes you may be in the right, but a lawsuit will take away all your funds. So it says, a long lawsuit breeds poverty. Basically meaning, when people spend too much time and energy arguing or fighting over something, it can drain their financial, emotional, or physical resources. Settle disagreements quickly to avoid unnecessary losses and hardship. Sometimes you may be in the right, but to fight your way to your right, you may end up spending much more than what you actually began with. So you realize that you may lose your finances, your job, just because you are paying just to get your way. And sometimes it's best to just settle it quickly as possible. You may be in the right, but try and settle it as quickly as possible. So that's our African proverb for today. A long lawsuit breeds poverty. So, some food for thought for you this morning. We'll be back right after this break.
Don't leave me high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry.
Will survive the treatment. The good news is early detection does save lives, and there are women who have lived through it and are now here to share some of their stories with us. One of such inspirational women is Benita Ogbonna. She is a breast cancer survivor, and she will share her inspiring journey with us. Benita, join me here. Welcome to our show, and thank you for agreeing to share your story with us and the rest of the world. Tell us what your experience has been. How did early detection of your cancer change the narrative for you?
Okay, actually, I knew about cancer 2001 when my mother died from it. My mother, she got to the late stage. I saw the stigma that was being attached to her. I saw all the pains she had to go through.
She didn't notice or detect it early?
I wasn't with her when she went to the hospital, but I was just there, and my elder brother called me that my mother has been diagnosed from breast cancer. And you know, then we have the mindset that once it's cancer, the person is dying. So eventually, because when it got to the late stage, I had to move down to where she was to take care of her. So I saw her in her late stage. I saw the pains she had to go through. And you know, a young girl growing up, seeing your mother, she actually got married 14. She gave birth to me when she was like 17, so we're like sisters. And finally on that day, she died on my hands. So before she died, she was like shedding tears, looking at me. But then I didn't understand what was happening. It is just now I understood that maybe a lot was just going through her mind. How am I going to leave my daughter, the younger ones?
How old were you when she passed away?
I was 16, 17. 16.
So you were in school by then, presumably?
Yes, I finished my SHS because I finished quite earlier. So I saw all that, and it was so traumatic, losing a mother, all the dreams of you getting married, your mother coming to stay with
Wear
you.
the crown for you.
Yes, because I used to tease her. When she beats me, I'll tell her, if you come to take care of my daughter, I will punish you, I will do this. So
it was not to be.
Yes, it was so traumatic.
So
and
the day you received the news of your diagnosis, take me back to that place.
Okay, so then I made up my mind I was going to be a breast cancer advocate.
Even before you found out what your condition was?
Yes, when she passed on, because I'm like, she has gone through a lot. I want to a kind of revenge on cancer. So I said, I'm going to be an advocate. I'm going to tell people about dangers of cancer.
Can beat cancer.
Yes, and I forgot about it as I was growing up. So the fears, even when you remind me to go for screening, the fears always puts me down, and it puts me back memories about my mother. So 2018, I was taking my bath. On this particular day, I wasn't thinking about cancer because that's the last thing I would wish for myself. I decided to do the self-examination for just checking sick, and my hand touched this painless lamp. You know that time your heart will sink into your stomach. That was what happened to me immediately, and I was freezing. In fact, I was in the bathhouse for maybe close to an hour because I was dying in my fears. Everything in me started telling me you are dying.
Because I'm sure it's playing back in your mind how you lost your mother and the pain that she went through. You automatically assume that you will end up that same way. What did you do when you came out of that hospital? What was your first point of call? Where did you go?
Okay, I went to my pastor's wife.
Your pastor?
Yes. When I went
to the hospital, which is very telling because the doctors also tell us that for many women seeking religious solutions to breast cancer diagnosis, it's usually the first thing that they do.
So when I went to my pastor's wife, she said, okay, there's a hospital I know that are good with this kind of thing. So we're going to direct you there whilst we keep praying for you. So I'm grateful to her that she didn't tell me to like do the fasting 7 days and all that.
And that's what every person of God, man or woman of God should do. If there's a medical diagnosis, by all means seek the spiritual intervention, but hand the case over to the professionals who have what it takes to deal with the matter. So she made sure that you got to hospital and you went through the test.
Yes, so when I got to the hospital, they said, yes, there's actually a lamp, but not all lamps are cancerous. So I had 50-50 chances. I was still praying to God, please, I don't want it to be cancer. I don't want to experience anything cancer. But they said I was going to do further checkups. So I did a breast scan, I did a mammogram. It was leading to something, and they said I have to do core biopsy, where they have to take the tissue, and test, know the stage and whatever. So when they did that, the report came in. That was the first day I met my mom, Dr. Mrs. Beatrice Wiafe Adai. I'm someone who don't like drugs or injections. So I made up my mind that when I get into her office and she doesn't give me this pleasant look or she's what I don't want, I'll run away. Run away to where I don't know. So when I entered her office, the smile she gave me just made me relax. So I said, okay, let me hear what she wants to say. And then she looked at my papers, the report. She looked at me, she said, Benita, it is cancer. You have to start treatment immediately so you stay alive and take care of your children.
What stage was it caught at?
I was already in grade 3.
Stage 3?
Not stage 3.
Grade 3.
Grade 3.
Well, how different is that from stage 2?
I don't really know, so maybe the doctor,
the experts will help. And that's the question we'll put to our next doctor in this month of October as we seek more awareness. So grade 3 is where you were at.
Yes.
What kind of treatment options were prescribed for you?
Yes,
what did you do?
I did the chemotherapy. So when she said I was going to start treatment immediately, I didn't stress to call anyone because I didn't want any negative advice. I saw what my mother went through. So when I heard that you have to stay alive and take care of your children, so I'm like, coming from a doctor, meaning this is survivable. So whatever it takes for me to do to survive it and take care of my children, I will. Coincidentally, my mother died leaving 5 of us, and I was also having 5. So I didn't
felt like
think-
history was repeating itself and it needed
And
to
I wanted to like,
be
is it
changed
spiritual?
to a positive thing.
I wanted to like, is it spiritual? But I had to take that mindset away and face it medically. So I started my chemotherapy. I did 6 rounds of chemotherapy. I lost my hair. A lot of women are dying today because they don't want to lose their hair. I did a little makeup I put on Facebook, and people were like, African queen, did you go to South Africa? Oh, black beauty. But they didn't know that was the chemo hair. I was trying to make the negative positive so I can fight it on. And I did a surgery mastectomy to be precise. And in a few months, I'll be 7 years as a survivor.
7 years?
Yes, please.
What was the biggest challenge for you? I mean, you've talked about a number of things, including stigma and the fact that, you know, not everything is as it should be. For you, what was it? What was the part that broke your heart the most?
During the chemotherapy period, I was there alone with the kids. My husband has traveled for greener pastures, as they say. So I was just there with the kids, alone, fighting this alone. And sometimes you wish someone to call you. And maybe one thing people don't realize is that some people naturally, they look strong. But within, a lot is happening. But so when people see your physical appearance, they think all is well with you. But they don't know that within, a lot is happening. So, but I just try to be positive. And that is why today I'm here.
So when you hear stories of survivors, you just know that even though it's a lonely journey, there are people who helped you through this. You mentioned Dr. Riafe, specifically Dr. Beatrice, and all the work that she's done with Breast Care International. What kind of support system was available to you to go through this journey? Because she has told us, Doctor herself has told us, that the cost involved can be quite substantial. How did you get support to fund this, to even get through this and beat it?
I did it personally, except for a few family members that I think I could confide in, those that will not put me down. And the church, few, but I did it personally.
Has cancer changed the way you see the world in any way?
Sure.
In what way?
I don't see this life to be anything, because anything can strike, anything can happen to you, anything can just happen. You just have to be positive. Just have to be good. You don't know what tomorrow holds. I'm lucky to survive, but a lot of people were not lucky to survive it. So this life, this world, there's nothing in it.
So speak to this woman who's watching us right now, who has just been told that she has breast cancer. And like you, she's perhaps in the bathroom for an hour, not knowing what to do. Speak to that woman.
Okay. I just want to encourage you and let you know that cancer is not a death sentence. It's only a phase in your life. Be positive. Let your faith be above your fears, and you definitely conquer it. And then you come out shining like I am. And what helped me, I'm a Christian. I had to get a Bible verse in the Bible that helped me. The Bible says, and you shall serve the Lord your God. You shall bless your water and your food, and I will take away sickness from you. Of course, I'm not serving any other God. So he worked for me. Be positive, and you come out strong.
Benita, thank you.
Thank you.
For this story and for sharing it with us, and for the hope and the light that you've thrown out to the world today.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And may you remain cancer-free.
Amen.
And enjoy the children.
Amen. Amen.
Benita
Thank you.
is a breast cancer survivor, and she's just shared her journey with us. Like we say, early detection is key. Hers was caught at stage 3, and a lot went into the treatment. It was not always an easy road for her. Sometimes it was a lonely journey, but she beat the odds, and you can too. But it all starts with getting the necessary checks done and getting it caught very early. Your chances of survival are better if the cancer is detected early. So this is the message this month of October, and we'll continue the advocacy on breast cancer in the coming days. Thank you for sitting with us on this side. We'll see you shortly.
information that we're going to give, because that information and conversation was around breast cancer. Since we're still in Pinktober, our health discussion today in BFS Clinic is also around breast cancer, and we're looking today at the importance of physiotherapy and the role that it can play in breast cancer rehab. So this morning we're going to explore that subject and continue to push breast cancer awareness. In the studio this morning to help us with the enlightenment is a WHO expert on rehabilitation and CEO Physio Solutions and Rehabilitation Center, Dorothy Boache Ansa Asamoah. She's a favorite of the show. We've missed her, but she's back. Welcome back, Dorothy, and good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, Matiti. How are you?
I'm good. Good to have you, especially in Pink October and the relation with physiotherapy, because maybe we may just miss that part. So let's begin, though, before we go into what you do, a specialty and its relation to breast cancer treatment or survival. What is breast cancer?
Okay, breast cancer simply is as a result of abnormal proliferation. When we say proliferation, we mean cell division. And it can happen in any parts of the body. That's cancer in itself. But then when it happens in the breast, that is when it's termed as a breast cancer. That's cancer within the breast.
Right.
So the cells divide abnormally. So you have an unusual growth. Yeah.
An unusual growth. So when you see something strange like that, just take it to the hospital.
Exactly.
Mastectomy, in what way is it related to breast cancer?
Okay, so usually when somebody gets a breast cancer or when it's detected, there are treatment options, and mastectomy is one of the treatment options, where the tissues can be removed. If it's a tumor within, sometimes you can have a tumor in the breast, so that can be removed. Okay. Or usually the whole breast can also be taken off in the process of the mastectomy.
That's the mastectomy.
Yeah.
And what stage is it done? Is it when the breast looks like if it's not taking off, you are going to die?
Well, that's an option, but then there are different forms of the mastectomy, different sections that can be taken off. And therefore, when it's detected early, we have different stages. There's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Within any of these stages, it can be done for you to save the life of the client.
Right. Let's go to physiotherapy. Since we're talking about saving the life of the client, how does it come in this situation?
Okay, so let's say somebody has a breast cancer. That is not the end of life. And usually breast cancer, when it's detected and patients undergo treatment, there are some challenges that come with the cancer and then the treatment as well. Patients tend to become weaker. They get easily fatigued. Whatever you do, you get tired easily. Some of them, they lose muscles. That's lean muscles, they lose it. Some of them get into anxiety and depressive situations. So physiotherapy comes in to help you have a fulfilled life in the area of getting you to be stronger, to the stage that you used to be before. It's actually not a death sentence. Something can be done about it. So going through exercises, we have different forms of exercises. We have exercises to help you get stronger, exercises to help you to be able to move the part of the limb. That's your upper limb. Usually that is what is affected when the surgery is done. So physio comes in to help you. We call something range of motion. To be able to move the joints, physio comes in to help you. It comes in to help reduce the swelling that comes with breast cancer treatments. That's the lymphedema. When patients are going through chemo, usually a lot of them go through lymphedema because the lymph nodes actually are affected when the surgery goes on. So physiotherapy comes in to help you have a better life. And it comes in also to support you psychosocially, to let you know that this is something you can live with and have a fulfilled life.
So when it comes to mental health, physio plays that role where it takes your mind off what
exactly
you're
going in terms of advice, and then letting you meet other cases which we are also seeing who are also going through the same thing. So you get to share ideas. You get to know that, okay, this is what is happening, this is what is working. We can adapt to certain things to help.
What are some of the success stories that with physio has been able to help people get back on?
I have seen quite a number of cases who are breast cancer survivors, and they've gone through lymph drainage massages which has helped them reduce the swelling, because usually some of them develop swelling, and these swellings, they come in different stages. It's about 3 stages, where you are asked to elevate the hand, but then swelling keeps coming, so physio comes in to help. We use compression stockings to help with the swelling, because that is a stocking that is worn. You can see that some people with breast cancer, they usually wear some socks. You see it as a socks all the way to the upper arm. Yes, it is to help reduce the swellings that come with it. And then physio also advises you on posture, because a lot of them experience pain, and by taking the person through proper posture in lying, in sitting, you are able to reduce the pain. Also, we come in the aspect of the pain with massages, relaxation massages, which help patients to have relief of the pain. And also we have a machine we call TENS, which we use to also reduce pain, and then cold therapies to help reduce the pain.
Do the patients decide that, well, I want to get a physiotherapy regime or something, or it has to be diagnosed or prescribed by the doctor and they come to a specialist?
Usually doctors recommend that for patients, and so they come. Some patients who are well educated also come themselves to see us. So once we assess you and realize that, oh, you need this therapy, whether for the lymphedema or for strengthening, because some are weak usually, they go into that kind of crisis. So we put them through tailored exercises for the stage the person is in to help you.
Are these exercises vigorous exercises, or, you know, they are simple exercises that they can do at home? Are they allowed to do it at home by themselves?
As a matter of fact, they are not vigorous exercises. These are simple exercises to help you to be able to move. And we have simple machines, I would say tools that you can use. We have the stretchy bands, which you can use. You can use dumbbells. These are to help to improve the strength of the muscles. That's the general muscle power of the individual. And then we have slings where we can tell you to move them to help with a range of motion, so that you can be able to move your arm easily.
Is this treatment done for other cancer issues aside from breast cancer?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Any cancer patients can come into physiotherapy. Once you are diagnosed as being weak or having some, we call it limited range of motion, when your movements is not as it's supposed to be, or you have stiffness in some parts of the body, we come in to help.
Is it advisable for anyone to just get somebody to massage them, step on them? You know how sometimes we do it at home.
Cancer survivors, their massaging is a specialized one. So I would advocate that you don't call anybody to just sit on you or stand on you or start pressing your body, because there's a way of doing cancer massages. That's the lymphatic drainage massage. It's a specialized area. So nobody at all can just come to do it. The person might make you worse if the drainage is not done well. And there's a technique to the drainage. There's how to drain, which points to drain to, and even how to get it into the system. Yeah.
How can we reach you, and what would you advise patients
we are Physio Solutions and Rehabilitation Center. We are located in East Legon. The closest landmark, we are close to Chez Afrique pub. And you can reach us on 0244 748826. We provide all total rehabilitation. It wouldn't be just the physiotherapy for the cancer patients. We provide psychotherapy for patients as
like
well.
Mental health.
Exactly, mental health. But some of them go into depression and anxiety situations as to what is about to happen to me. Am I going to die? You are not going to die. It is not a death sentence. I see it as like any other sickness that could also be diagnosed. Once you handle yourself well and you are positive, you'll be able to live a fulfilled life.
What word of advice do you have to other people in the health space like you? Because I have heard a patient or a cancer survivor say that they went to a hospital and the staff were like, oh, we cry, bread, nah, we, like she won't survive. and the cancer patients had this, and this really got to the person, and the person left the premises and never went back to the hospital.
What I would say is be positive about it. Whatever situation where looking at something, a lady was being interviewed and then she said you should be positive about it.
Faith as well.
Exactly, have faith as well. Once God has not called you, it doesn't mean whatever is happening to you can kill you. I've seen patients go to the very downside of HIV and they got up.
Right.
So it's possible. But then the most important thing is, as women, we should have our breasts checked from time to time.
Definitely.
Because the mantra is early detection will save your life. And once it's detected early, interventions can be given. And you can prolong life.
And you can prolong life. So instead of hopping from camps to camps, spiritual centers to spiritual centers, seek health, seek advice, go to the nearest health facility, speak to a family member. I mean, it looks like the mental health stages of cancer starts from that point when they are diagnosed.
Exactly. It starts from the very first day you are
people start
diagnosed.
saying it's enemies and family members or some bad luck or curse. So, as Dorothy has said, early detection will definitely save your life because there's treatment, there's chemotherapy, there's physiotherapy to help you get back on your feet, and you can be a survivor and a champion for others. We've been speaking about the relation of physiotherapy and breast cancer survival and treatment, and Dorothy has said that they reduce the swelling with the massages. It's done by specialists, and so you'd want to reach out to them at the Physio Solutions and Rehabilitation Center. They are at East Legon. You can watch this again. She left the number and get their contact and go to them. Get your life back on track if you are surviving cancer currently, any other condition as well. Dorothy Boache Ansah Asamoah, CEO, Physio Solutions and Rehabilitation Center. I am Altiti Saida Sadek. That's it for our health conversation. We're back with social media corner, sports, politics, manifesto watch. There's a lot this Monday for you.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my ass.
lot of things trending, bringing you a bit of that news. It's election season. And you know, it's that time of the year where you find some politicians, you know, preparing banku, you know, helping people in a lot of odd places. And you think it's quite unique to Ghana and Africa. And yet, you realize if you go to the US of A, and I'm not talking about the United States of Ashama, I'm actually talking about the US of A. Yes, you realize that Donald Trump, one of the presidential candidates who is vying for president in the US, is also doing something quite unique. Yes, there's a video of him trending all over social media because guess what? He was working at McDonald's. And it's not fake, it's actually true. Here you go.
To work at McDonald's, but I never did. I'm running against somebody that said she did, but it turned out to be a totally phony story. So, President Trump! Well, that's a good-looking group. Hello, everybody. I'm having a lot of fun here, everybody. Look at all the fake news of it. I'm looking for a job, and I've always... Everybody,
oh my God! Oh my God!
Look at all the fake news of it. Hello, everybody.
You can fake this, right?
And you know this is compliments of Trump, okay?
Yes, thank you. Mr. President,
yes.
Please don't let the United States become Brazil, my native Brazil.
We'll keep it good.
Please.
We're going to make it better than ever, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, Mr.
Compliments of Trump.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you over there. Have a good time.
Thank
nice
you.
to see you. Bye, darling. Have a good time.
He just had to put the fake news jibe in there. I don't know if you remember back in his first term, anytime something happens, it's like this fake news, this fake news, this fake news, and he'll go and tweet about it. Yes. So imagine you drive through your favorite KFC or something and see a presidential candidate, you know, they're over there to serve you. How's that going to feel like? Yeah, it is what it is. Next month is the election. Let's see who comes out on top. So we're moving on. We're speaking about cultural barriers this time around. We're speaking about cultural barriers, and this time, you know, Nigeria, Ghana, we have this wonderful relationship. And it seems there's this couple, but it looks like some contemporary wahala is going on. But since it's trending all over social media, enjoy this one.
Babe, how you want to carry all these things go?
I'm going to cook contemporary stew.
You come Nigeria, they enter bush, they find something where go to the chop. This is goat food.
Don't we eat this thing? Contemporary.
It's for goat. This place.
This one.
We don't eat it here. If you eat it here, you run mad.
What's wrong, man?
This place, we don't eat it. Babe, we don't eat this thing here. Now, what thing you go bush, go they find?
Okay, I go cook and you go eat.
This thing now for goat.
Oh, but you to allow me to cook this thing now. What is it?
It's goat food. Go and throw it away.
Never.
In Nigeria, we don't eat this thing. Go and ask any Igbo person if we eat akukwede. We don't eat akukwede. It's for goat.
When you go to Ghana, don't we eat it?
This place we don't eat it. Maybe the one you people eat in Ghana is different.
It's the same.
This is akukwede. We don't eat it here. If you eat it, you run mad.
Don't tell me that. Let me eat my
Babe, this thing will make you run mad though.
I want to run mad.
You run mad, I will take it to Ghana. Oh.
Take me.
Go and throw it away.
Never.
Babe, we don't eat this thing here.
Oh, leave me alone.
Go and cook it.
We need to find out, we need to check on that man to see if he ran mad or he fell madly in love again with his wife. Is it contemporary or is it good food? You know what it is. Yeah, we're crossing barriers this time around, cultural barriers. Now, in another video that's trending, you know, for some people, English is a second language for them. Unlike me, a lost generation, who I'm still finding myself, you know, when it comes to being Ghanaian. But, you know, for some people, English is a second language for them. And their confusion is a lot when they find out that certain words are supposed to follow in a certain pattern don't go like that. Imagine somebody says, oh, I'm bringing people to dinner. They are coming. And then when they finally arrive, you realize there's just one person. And then they tell you, oh, their pronouns are they, them. That's why they are saying they are coming for dinner. So much confusion. What was that? They will eat all that food. Now, look at this woman with her confusion.
English drives me crazy. Countries and nationalities. At first, they all look so simple, right? America, American. Australia, Australian. Just add the N in the end. Canada, Canadian. No! Canadian. And an I in the middle for no reason. Why? You don't like how Canada looks like? Then just call it Canada in the first place. It makes more sense that way. But okay, your language, your rule. I'm from China, by the way. At this point, I was thinking my nationality should be called not Chinan, apparently. Maybe Chinean? You know, like Canadian. No! It's Chinese! It's like, oh, we're done with the I's and the N's. It's too predictable. Let's change the A to E-S-E. Hello, we're just trying to learn a language. Where's logic? It's gone! It's gone! This is not even the part that pisses me off the most. At this point, I figured out it doesn't matter how you change it. They always add something at the end to make it longer, right? Until I learned about Germany. People from there are not Germanian or Germanese. They are Germans. Germans. We'll talk about the plural in another video. But Germans. Well, you don't like the white anymore, so just get rid of it? Excuse me? I've learned English for so many years. Not once in my life I've said these two words right. Oh, he's from German. He's from Germany. He's German. Was that right? Oh my god, I don't even know. I don't know about English. Oh, speaking of that, people from England are called English, right? England, English. Poland, Polish. Thailand, Thai! Thai! Not Thailish. I don't know about your language, but you know how simple this is in Chinese? Just add a word after each country's name, and it's the same word. 人, 中国, 中国人. 美国, 美国人. 德国, 德国人. 泰国, 泰国人.
Well, English is a crazy language. No wonder Africa language is quite unique, because if you bring it here, it won't really work. Ghana, Ghanaian, Nigerian, then we go to Angola. It's a whole lot. Togo, Benin, it's a whole lot. Driving on the streets of Accra is not for the faint-hearted. I know for someone like my mom, she has given up. For over 10 years, like a decade now, she hasn't touched the wheel of a car. She's done, because the stress is too much. I know another friend, or should I say a neighbor, she's going forward and she says she never goes back. She doesn't do reverse. There was one time on our way to church, she got stuck in the middle of the road. They were blaming her that, oh, please, go back so that we can pass and then everybody can pass safely. She was just sitting down calmly. And we were like, oh, ma, please, go back so that they can pass. She was like, I won't go back. No matter what you said, she won't go. Hey, reverse is a problem. Oh, ma, it is well. You know what? This is typically what happens on the streets of Accra. Enjoy this one.
You can't do this in America or Libya. You cannot. It is not fair. It is not right. Oh, Lord, grant me the serenity. I mean, how do you do this? And they expect me to go back. You can't do this in America or Libya. You cannot. It is not fair. It is not right. Oh, Lord, grant me the serenity. I mean, how do you do this? And they expect me to go back. You can't do this in America.
If you were that driver, are you going to go back? Pascal Mouth has that funny kind of situation like that where nobody decided to go back. At the end of the day, he sat down to read newspapers and he thought he had won. And then the other driver got down from his car and started approaching him. And he was like, I've won. Continued reading his papers. And the guy came to knock on his window. And he lowered it. He was like, yes. Are you done with the papers? He was like, okay. He was like, nah. Okay, when you finish, give it to me. I want to read it. And that was when Basketball was like, you know what? I'll go back so that you can come and pass, so that you win all these things. Yeah. So driving on the streets of Accra is not for the faint-hearted. There's something beautiful about campaign season. A few weeks ago, I brought you a beautiful video of NDC and MPP supporters, just vibing on the streets of Accra. And there's another one. Yes, when two supporters meet, and we are glad to see all this harmony. It shows that elections is all about harmony. It's about peace. Enjoy this one. when you have a 24-hour economy meeting, people, it is possible for all this to happen. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I did say it. It was just nice to see. You know what? What's coming up next is it's a beautiful project work. And you know, sometimes you complain about the fact that, oh, I just want to say, I just remembered, I realized that with all the way the NPP and NEC supporters were vibing, when they declared the results in December, they vibed the same way. You know what I mean? It's all peace and, you know, vibes and harmony and all. Yes, so now let's go to the next trend, where, you know, sometimes some people complain that when you do your project works, it goes to sit on the shelves of the lectures and the school and all that. But this time around, Takoradi Technical University, they took it to a practical level. And then it's like, it's project work where you can actually, you know, it's practicable. You can actually use it. Yes, so we say kudos to the school, kudos to the student, and then it's like, it's an amazing sight to see, and I hope you love it too. Enjoy this one. The future is AI. That's what we are seeing. It is well. The Black Stars lost against Sudan, but it seems they found their scoring boots over the weekend in their various clubs. Inaki, for instance, scored. Kudus he scored for his team, and then again they lost, and he was involved in the melee. And again, I want to say again, we want Kudus to join Arsenal, because what he did against Tottenham Hotspurs, we the Arsenal fans, we love it. We love it. So even though we lost our game against Bournemouth, Charlie, we want Kudus in our team. Yes. And speaking of the last time Ghana played, we didn't find our scoring boots. But then again, perhaps we need somebody else to lead the team in terms of us scoring the goals and finding our scoring boots and everything. I don't know what to make of this video, but take a look.
At this point, Ghana needed a white guy up front to get us the goals.
Even the Sioux, you couldn't do it well. Even me, I can do it better. I'm just saying, people claim I dance like a... I will not go into that. I will not. If you just joined us, it's still the social media corner. We're moving to our final trend for today. You know, we want you to have a vibey week. So one of the artists who is making a lot of airways at the moment is King Paluta. He's the king of the airways at the moment. And he has a new song out for the poppin'. And boy, oh boy, is a track popping.
I did not pick it, I pick ya, pick ya, pick it. Hey, I did not pick it, I pick ya, pick ya, pick it. Shaking my meal, I get it, I get it, I get it, I get it. Baby, I so swan, I pick it, I pick ya, pick ya, pick it. Kim Paluta.
wrapping up. We'll go for a quick break. When we return, the show continues.
You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak just my mind. Oh. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're chilling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh.
Nana Kwame Bediako, also an independent candidate, is at number 12, and the Movement for Change, Alan John Kojo Tremantin, taking the last spot of 13. With 275 constituencies participating in the election, the issue at hand is what the electorates perceive to be the best placements of their presidential and parliamentary candidates on the ballot sheet. With almost every active voter belonging to a political party or supporting an independent candidate, the thinking is that their votes automatically go to their respective parties. But the situation is not always the case, and political parties are trying hard to imprint their numbers in the minds of voters to avoid a defeat.
Arrangements will influence my vote. It depends on the messages that are coming and what I think is best for the nation going forward. Up to the politicians, if I should say, to do their work well by educating people through the various numbers they've chosen for their presidential candidates.
Based on the experience I have, some may say yes and I may agree. I believe that God has a pick when it comes to choosing leaders for nations. And I believe that God works with numbers.
From the opinions gathered, what matters most to the public is locating their candidates who they believe have been persuasive enough with their plans and agenda for when they get endorsement to lead and must exercise their franchise clearly on voting day, regardless of their position on the ballot paper.
I am number one, oh. I am number one, oh. So I
Eight no a woman ho match eight no ezu eza eight no a woman ho omumbe breaking na mehwe.
For me, I don't think the position of a candidate actually influenced my vote.
MPP is on the ballot list as number 1. So, for instance, if even, most of our parents and our elderly people, they don't really get the time to scroll through like that. So, Okona occasion say, Okwa, number 1, first one, Okona Obemia. So, I believe in ballot order effect. And then research says that the candidates that find their spot on the number 1 spot do get more votes than those who end up being at the bottom. And also for voters' confusion, sometimes when the voters are not confident with or cannot see the ballot paper, especially when the designs are not bright enough, the ink are not showing well, voters might get confused with the number which their candidates are on. And then I also think that the numbers also influence where they vote, because voters at times might be looking at the number which their candidate is on. So they will definitely try to look for that number to vote. So I think the numbers on the ballot paper influence the voting process.
As of now, it is only after December 7 that one can conclude that how the various parties were listed on the ballot worked the magic for them or not to win or lose the election. When the dust settles post-December 7, the prayer of all is for peace to prevail in Mother Ghana, one nation, indivisible with a common destiny.
Parliament to put a hold on Speaker's ruling ousting 4 MPs.
Okay, so that's it flows through all the papers this morning.
Legislature and the judiciary.
Yes, the Ghanaian publisher SC, which is Supreme Court, overturns Bagbe's ruling. Atufoso insists he won't obey court orders. Okay. It's a one-issue story this
morning.
Okay.
The National Voice has by force, majority won't work. Go out and campaign for it. Baumia fires NDC.
Okay, so that's the big one. The Ghanaian Observer, Supreme Court overturns Bagbe's unconstitutional orders, directs Parliament to recognize 4 MPs. It's one issue. It's one issue, really.
Right.
Daily Analyst.
Daily Analyst.
Okay,
they've changed it. IPOC meeting. EC presents fixed voters register to political parties, assured them of the Commission's neutrality.
Oh.
See more of that on 3 and 4.
The Informer, declaring states vacant. Professor faults Speaker, argues declaration of intent doesn't shift allegiance. Okay. So that's your Daily Searchlight.
Daily Searchlight, an unnecessary constitutional crisis. NDC caucus defies Supreme Court. Battles fisticuffs expected in Parliament this week.
Okay. So that's your Searchlight.
And
those are our papers. So you come back and talk about
the CPP and their manifesto and their policy on governance, education, health. Since you're having a conversation on education, I think I'll ask about the school placement system and all the challenges and see what the Convention People's Party will be dealing with it. So
you're all welcome. We'll see you later.
See you later.
Okay, headlines.
Fear for this year's election. I hear say ECF print extra ballot papers for back.
You and your filler, where did you hear all these things from?
How does the EC print these ballot papers? Process na friction there.
My friends, what brings you here this time? Today too, we get some questions about the election. So your man come again with another hearsay.
No problem at all. Let's sit outside. I wonder how them they print the ballot papers. I hear say EC they fit print some ballot papers secretly.
Let me break it down for you. Ghana is one of the few countries where the Electoral Commission prints ballot papers within the country. For real? So how do you ensure it is fair and transparent? Political party representatives, the police service, and the National Intelligence Bureau all observe the printing and packing of the ballot papers.
Now ballot papers swear. How can we be sure they are genuine?
Ballot paper BR a serial number. Any ballot paper without these official serial numbers are fake. Party agents record serial numbers for each region, district, constituency, and polling station.
It is How do we know?
In fact, there is 24-hour observation. From printing to armory to polling station, everything is closely monitored. At each station, we account for every ballot. I mean, total ballots, issued ballots, unused ballots, and even spoiled ballots. There is no room. Extra one baby. This one be serious work. But that is how we ensure that the election is as transparent as pure water.
Now we know the truth.
Therefore, when the ballot papers are packaged, every political party has their seal on it. Look, the process is monitored all the way. It is Frenchim. Everybody make Iredo. Nobody they sleep at all. From Green to Kankan, 24/7. The EC they work. 2024 elections. No libilibi, no labalaba. It be Frenchim. It be clean. No kululu.
Mangana wasumjepa
I love President Charcoal. Why? When there are so many other charcoal toothpaste.
Fatal accident. That's two of the big headlines in Ghana. And, well, online I see Gaddafi's legacy 13 years after he was killed back in 2011. There was a vigil for the East Legon accident victims that took place last Friday. The BEC results are out, and SHS students return or go to school on the 30th of this month. So these are a couple of headlines that are there for the taking. You can give us a call. Remember, when you get through, kindly put your volume to 0. Let us know where you're calling from, and then go ahead and tell us what's on your mind. This morning, 47 days away from elections, have you decided? Do you know who you're voting for? Can anybody sway your mind at this moment? Those of you who are on the fence, what will make you change your mind this time when we have less than 7 weeks to go to the elections? I'm here to take your calls and listen to what's on your mind this morning. I'd love to hear from you. So let me know. WAEC releases 2024 BEC results. And I read the press statement. It made for interesting reading. Over 560,000 candidates from 19,500 schools entered for the exams. And cancellation of subjects results of 377 school candidates, 3 private candidates, for the offense of bringing foreign materials to the exam hall or colluding with other candidates. 41 school candidates, 1 private candidate had their entire results cancelled. And then 33 school candidates and 3 private candidates had the withholding of their entire results. So WAEC is cautioning all stakeholders to be wary of fraudsters who promise to upgrade results for a fee. You cannot upgrade anybody's results for a fee. You upgrade your results if you do the exam again and do better than you did in the past. We have Nathaniel on the line. Nathaniel, where are you calling from? It's called Drop Call Town. And Nathaniel, please call us back, all right? Yeah, so the results are out. The council is cautioning all stakeholders to be wary of fraudsters who promise to upgrade results for a fee. Candidates are to know that WAEC results are secured and can be authenticated. You did hear about people who took fake results to universities abroad and were found out, and I think some of them are even being deported. So it's a very serious offense. Make sure that you don't fall victim to anybody who tells you that they can change your results for a fee. I mean, what kind of thinking is that? You change your results for a fee? It doesn't work like that, So, yeah. So basically, those are the headlines. NDC claiming majority status in Parliament. And now we can get to the lines. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Hello.
Hi, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Frank. I'm calling from.
You're calling from?
Accra.
All right, Prince, what's on your mind this morning?
Yeah, I would like to share my little opinion about the Galamsey topic.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening.
Yes, the issue we are doing Galamsey, we are doing mining. That's how I will put it. The approach that they are approaching to stop it. Not the best way. Galamsey stopping is an issue like stopping corruption and those things. It's very hard because when you look at the place we are doing mining now, it's not about government or anybody. The issue is that we doing it over the years. It's a huge people doing the Galamsey. And if you are to stop it now, they need to put a certain measures in place so that it can help us to do our mining and get something out of it. Because we are not being employed. I'm in Accra, but I've moved all the way to the place we are doing mining to mine and get some money out of it.
Where are you doing your mining, sir? Where are you doing the mining? Which part of Ghana?
We are doing it in, let's say, Ashanti region.
Okay.
But I'm based in Accra.
All right. So how often do you go? How often do you go to the Ashanti region to go and do your mining?
I'm there. I just came back last month ago.
What's it like? What's the work like?
You see, the mining issue, the way we talk about this in Accra here is different. You understand?
So tell me what it's like in Ashanti region where you are mining. How early do you get up? What do you do? What kind of equipment do you use?
We have our boat. The one we usually see the burning. That's what we are doing. We get to a site. The site that we always say that we is the forest reserve mining from river bodies. That's not how it looks like. You understand? The one we are doing is not owned by politicians. We, the individual that owns that machine. 90% are owned by we, the individual and the town people.
How many of you are on the site?
On our place, we are more than 300.
300?
Yes, we are more than.
Okay, more than 300 people. And are you mining in a forest?
Not forest.
Where are you mining?
We are mining on individual land. Some are family lands. We took it from a family, not even a chief. It's family land.
Okay.
You understand?
All right. Are there any rivers close to where you mine?
You need to take a little look at it. And the way you talk, when I come to Accra and listen to the station, the way you talk about it, that is not what on the
Yeah,
ground.
that's why I'm asking you all these questions.
Making the stopping
That's why I'm asking you the questions.
Understand?
So do you
when
can you hear me, Prince?
And they wanted to stop the Galamsey. The people in Accra were not backing the man, so it got to a stand where he stopped. But how to stop Galamsey is not the approach they are doing it now. They need to find a way for us because we have more than 1,000.
Okay, so Prince, you say you have over 300 people on
1,000 people at the town we are mining now.
Right, Prince.
Some are from Busa, some are from North, some are from Ashanti, some are from East. To understand. Sometimes you talk that politicians do the place have done mining. It's not the politicians who are not doing it. They need our vote. So no mining area, nobody can stop Galamsey there because the MP is not doing it. Needs our vote.
Prince, can you hear me? Prince, can you hear me?
Tell us to stop.
Can you hear me?
You understand?
Prince, can you hear me?
So we should take
Can't
a
hear me.
look at it. We should take a closer because I went to Azim. We have Ibrahim Mahama who has concession there, and the MP who has television who has concession. We are not doing illegal mining, but
Can you hear me now? Well, Prince just wanted to talk. I guess he's finished talking. Thank you very much, Prince. Because I wanted to ask you a couple of questions, but the man wasn't hearing me. So 055-556-1034. That's the WhatsApp number. The calling number is the phone number is on your screen right now for you to give me a call. Tell me what's on your mind this morning. So Prince claims that he's mining somewhere in the Ashanti region, and according to him, the Galamsey is not the way we see it here in Accra and in the other parts of the country where mining is not happening. And he was trying to tell us exactly what he was doing. Okay, so we're going to Ashaiman now. Good morning. Good morning. Razak, good morning. How are you? The lines seem to have gone on strike. Razak, how are you? No, we can't get Razak. Okay. We can't get Razak. So keep trying to get through, and we should get to you to find out what's on your mind this morning on GTV Breakfast. I'm going to give you a couple of headlines. Okay. Avoid chaos. Let maturity guide you. Gabi calls for truce as Parliament reconvenes tomorrow, I guess. Prof. Mike Okwe calls for institutionalized presidential debates in Ghana. We haven't had a single presidential debate in Ghana. We have 47 days to the elections. I wonder how that's going. President Akufo-Addo attends the Commonwealth meeting to support his foreign minister, Honorable Shirley Ayoko Butchie. We do have what the Supreme Court will do if the Speaker instructs marshals to do what he wanted to be done. And I think we can go to the calls right again. Good morning. Welcome. You're on GTV Breakfast. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from, sir?
I'm Papan, calling from Asante.
Okay, go ahead. What's on your mind?
I've got two issues I want to be brief with them.
All right.
The one has to do with the impasse in Parliament.
Yes.
Antonio Martins Honorable is the majority leader.
Yes.
On the MPP side. He contested his constituency as an MPP candidate, and for that matter, his constituents put the trust in him and gave him the nod. As majority leader, if he decides to contest the next election as an NDC candidate for his constituency, will the MPP still let him be the majority leader while in the next he is contesting on the ticket of the NDC? Would they even trust him to be loyal to the MPP while he is raising his boots to contest for the NDC? What I want to say is that your constituents place some trust in you based on the horse you were riding. And you were riding on the horse of the MPP or the NDC. If you have broken faith with them, then your constituents should be protected from you being playing some silly games with them. When you are presenting yourself different from what you presented yourself to them before they gave you the nod. So this issue of MPs who are switching camps and are being disqualified, there has been a precedent. Last 4 years it was done. Those who initiated that know that one day to come back to fight them. Today, the same principle is being done, and we are all tapped in flames saying that it is not this, it is not that, it is not. Please, don't let us be hypocritical with all these things. They have switched camp, and the law says they should be disqualified. So we should be cool with that. Then number two, Johnny, CAF. There is something fundamentally wrong with our education system in this country.
Why do you say so?
We went to school one morning preparing to teach our children, we have a scheme of work. That is what every serious educational system goes with, a scheme of work. Things we are going to teach within the period under review. All of a sudden they said that stop whatever you are doing, whatever you have taught have to stop. First question, give it to the students. Form 1 students, they finish writing the exams, whether you have marked the script or not, they are in Form 2. Form 3, they should go home and come somewhere in January. So that we can accommodate Form 1, those who just wrote the DEC. The CAF, which serious jurisdiction does that? It is not as if you are in a pandemic. It's not as if you are in a state of emergency. The system was running smooth. All of it, they said, and it will shock you that Form 1 currently had done 2 weeks, and to be specific, 1 week and 3 days of academic work. They said we should compose everything. Set questions for them. Let them write. Whether they're able to do it or not, immediately they finish that exam, they are in Form 2. That is something fundamentally wrong. And this is senior high school we are talking about. Senior high school. Yesterday I was talking to one of my nieces who had problem with periodic chemistry. And I was able to take her through. She was asking me, but uncle, you are teaching me without looking at the I said that what I was taught in the secondary school, I still have it fresh. Because that was a serious system. That was a system that compelled us to give our best. Today they come to school, you are sitting there without any provocation, because they say that you are vacating. Whether you have taught them or not, they don't care. That is because of political experience.
All righty. Point well made. Thank you very much. And that's the end of What's on Your Mind on the show. We'll take a quick break and then we'll continue with headlines. Don't go anywhere. Down into the distance. Now constituted the majority in the House. He has expressed the readiness of the caucus to jealously protect their new majority status, stressing that they will not bow or retreat nor surrender. Quote, "We will not abdicate our responsibility to the people no matter what." And nothing, absolutely nothing will change this position. That's Dr. Forson. I hear a response already from the presidential candidate of the NPP. He says, listen, you fight for your majority at the polls, not in parliament. What's going on? Is your caucus not at the risk of being in contempt of a Supreme Court ruling?
Well, first of all, let me say good morning to you, Kafui, and to our cherished viewers. And this matter has become quite an interesting matter over time. And we need to look at the matter holistically. So I first of all want to speak about the double standards that we've seen, the MPP conducting themselves in. If you remember, as far back in 2020, a matter of very similar facts was presented in Parliament to Professor Mike Oquaye. And Professor Mike Oquaye, on the authority of Order 18, which enables the Speaker to make a declaration that on the basis of Article 97, some of the subclauses in Article 97, the Fomena MP had vacated his seat. He made that declaration. And in 2020, nobody was speaking to the media or making noise about the issue.
Did you go to court? Did you go to the Supreme Court?
We didn't go to the court.
Okay. Hold for a second. Let me let's jump on the line, speak with Executive Director for African Center for Parliamentary Affairs, Dr. Rashid Draman, and then you continue with your submission. Dr. Draman, good morning. Welcome to the breakfast show on GTV. So we have this interesting situation where the Speaker declares some seats, 4 seats, vacant. MPP goes to Supreme Court, and we will get back to Dr. Draman in a short while. When the lines are clear. You're watching GTV Breakfast. I'll give you a couple of headlines. NDC caucus in Parliament says the Supreme Court ruling is not binding. Former Foreign Affairs Minister is asking, does the Supreme Court consider public opinion in its rulings? There's a case of alleged bribery of AD Beach Board Chair Kweuman Hini not destooled, says the Traditional Council. My son didn't kill anyone with a gun, says Salifu Amuaku. And 3 multimedia journalists attacked at a mining site. These are just some of the headlines that we have for you this morning. We want to focus on the Supreme Court ruling that was delivered last week. And as soon as we get Dr. Rashid Draman, who is Executive Director for the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs, on the line, we will speak to him right now. Dr. Draman, good morning. Welcome to the show. So the Speaker declares 4 seats vacant, but Supreme Court rules that, it stays that particular decision. And the NDC caucus are saying that that Supreme Court ruling is not binding. Educate us on what the facts are and how we should proceed going forward.
At least what I know, what I know is that, judicial reviews are done in democracies, but most of the time they are rare, mainly because there's always the need to ensure that the 3 branches of government are separate, independent, but at least they can interdepend on each other. When Parliament passes a law, even their standing orders, the standing orders of Parliament, in our Parliament, if you take the standing orders, there are a number of orders, particularly those that deal with weighty matters, which draw their kind of meanings from the Constitution. So they are tied to a number of constitutional provisions. So whenever Parliament does anything, particularly passes a law, and the law, infringes any provision of the Constitution, then the courts can come in and say, this law that you have passed or this decision that has been made is against this particular constitutional provision because that is not how it's supposed to be read. And this is our reading of it. So when that is done, I think that it's normally accepted because the court has the final say, particularly the Supreme Court, in terms of interpreting our laws. So that is generally what happens.
Right.
But what position is not very clear, particularly in terms of, saying, okay, we are now dealing with Article 97. The Speaker said this is our position on that. That would have been very clear to everybody.
Right. Dr. Draman,
yes.
If the Speaker decides to defy the Supreme Court, what is he risking?
I think anybody who defies the Supreme Court, we know that that's contempt of court. It's similar to anybody who decides to defy Parliament. It's also seen as contempt of Parliament. And I believe that the Speaker would be the last person to defy the court, even though we have seen in recent times the executive defying Parliament, and not even maybe the President himself. We've seen his secretary defying Parliament, writing to the clerk to Parliament and saying cease and desist. And I think nothing happened. So I don't know what it would mean if the Speaker defies the Supreme Court. Maybe he could defy the Supreme Court by saying, so far as he is concerned, what the court has said has not given any different meaning to how he read the law.
Can he be arrested for defying the Supreme Court and punished?
Well, I'm sure maybe legally he could, but I mean, sometimes as a lawyer, I'm sure you are a lawyer, maybe the mood of the nation and many factors are taken into consideration when actions are taken. So I don't know whether he could be arrested, and if he is arrested, I don't know what the implications are going to be. But I can predict that the implications are going to be dire for our nation, and the country can be plunged into further constitutional crisis than what we are about to have on our hands.
When the NDC caucus in Parliament says the Supreme Court ruling is not binding, are they dreaming?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what their interpretation of it is. So they might be the best to answer this question. But what I can tell you is that I've said this since yesterday. This is the time we need our elders in this country. This is the time we need a dialogue, a tripartite dialogue. I mean, not tripartite conversation, sorry. The President, the Speaker, the Chief Justice. Because at the end of the day, I think it's conversation and compromise that's going to take us out of this.
Right.
If anybody sits down and thinks that tomorrow things are going to regulate themselves, or as we are hearing, the NDC says that they have heard that the military is going to come in. First of all, that would be a blight on our democracy. That would take away the little confidence that is left in democracies, particularly in our sub-region. And that can invoke or inspire some adventure, which we don't like.
Right.
So I think at the end of the day, I mean, the elders, I haven't heard the imams, I haven't heard the archbishops, the pastors, I haven't heard them. I haven't heard the peace council. I haven't heard those who are the moral compass of our society. This is the time that we need to hear them. Or maybe they are working behind the scenes. And if they are, then that is commendable.
Right.
Otherwise, we can have a big crisis on our hands tomorrow.
Okay. Briefly, for those who say, what's the big deal about where you sit in the House of Parliament, whether you are minority or majority? The main action should be focusing on the polls. What's your response to them?
No, I mean, there's a big deal. Because, I mean, if you are minority, I mean, there are so many kind of things that you cannot do. And if you are majority, there are so many things that you can do. I.e., in our system, if you are sitting on the particular side, on the majority side, you chair committees of parliament. Almost all committees, except a few, public accounts and others, based on our new standing orders.
Right.
If you are majority, you have more, numerical strength on parliamentary committees. If you are majority, there are so many other things that you can do, including what they are saying now. We are going to repeal this law, we are going to repeal that, we are going to repeal that. So, it's about power.
Right.
It's not just about where you sit.
Okay. It's about power. It's not about just where you sit. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us, Dr. Rashid Draman, who is the Executive Director for the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs, speaking on the issues in Parliament almost coming head-to-head with the Supreme Court. You are watching GTV Breakfast. My guests are here. Mr. Saki Sosi, National Communication Team Member for the NDC, Mr. Joseph Kojo Afare-Yeboah, who's a parliamentary candidate for the CPP, wanting to be a Member of Parliament for Okre in the Eastern Region, and Mr. Saka Salia, who's the National Communications Team Member of the MPP. Gentlemen, I'm going to give you each 2 minutes to talk about this particular issue, starting, first of all, with Mr. Saki Sosi. Go ahead, sir.
Kafui, so I was talking about the double standards of the NPP. We saw this in 2020, where it involved the Fomena MP. In 2024, he's also a part of the 4 seats that are being declared vacant.
Because he was an MPP MP, and then he went independent.
Yes.
He was kicked out of his party.
Exactly.
He won his seat, and now he's sitting on their side.
And then now he
wants to go back to the party.
Exactly.
Okay.
And nobody complained about this issue. You're asking, didn't we go to the Supreme Court? Indeed, the Supreme Court is not the forum for that particular discussion. Article 99 says that the High Court is the forum for determining these issues. Now, I'll get to that.
So why didn't the Supreme Court kick them out? If they tell them, hey, this is the wrong place.
That is what everybody is surprised about, and that's the reason you have people talking about disagreeing with the Supreme Court and the fact that because the forum it is quite express. Let me read Article 99. It's quite expressly stated here in Article 99 that the High Court shall have jurisdiction to hear and determine any question whether a person has been validly elected as a member of Parliament or the seat of a member has become vacant. And so on this particular issue, Article 99 is clear that it is the High Court that should be hearing these issues. And the reason I need to call out the double standard of the NPP is that today you can clearly see that the NPP has thrown Professor Michael Quay under the bus. They are claiming now that Professor Michael Quay was wrong and that what he did in 2020 was not proper. And I'm quite concerned because once Article 99 says the High Court should be hearing these issues, it's only a matter of time. You have this party with this double standard throwing the Supreme Court under the bus sometime later and claiming that, they were not supposed to have heard this matter and they still proceeded to hear this matter. So we need to be very, very careful. The implications are very dire. But back to the issue of Article 97, because it's a very important issue. I think we're all missing how important this matter is. This has got to do with the integrity of political representation. If I go to the polls to vote for a member of Parliament, I first of all consider his personal attributes, and then I also consider the political platform that he's running on. If he goes to Parliament and he decides to change his political character, i.e. he decides to change the political party that he belongs to, or now he decides to become independent, then it means that what he presented to me, on the basis of which I ceded my representation to him, has changed. The political dynamics has changed, and so now he is not necessarily representing me in the way that I understood him to be doing so. And that is why Article 97 says that such a person, and it is very mandatory, Article 97 says, a member of Parliament shall vacate his seat. He shall vacate his seat if any of these things happen, including if he leaves the party of which was a member at the time of his election to Parliament to join another party or seeks to remain in Parliament as an independent member.
Okay.
And then you have Order 18, empowering the Speaker to make that declaration. Once that declaration has been made, I don't really see what that fuss here is about. And that's why you have the NDC caucus saying that they are going to ensure that this is actually enforced.
All right, that's Saki there speaking for the NDC. Mr. Afra-Yeboah, I'm sure you're following this closely. What's your take on this?
Well, good morning to our viewers. Yeah. I would ask, perhaps, instead of answering, I would also ask questions. Is this particular situation necessary? Let me come in. This is not the first time you've had a member of parliament changing from independent to a political party. We've had the likes of Dominic Nitio, Boniface Sadiq, who contested in Salaga in the Third Republic as an independent candidate, and then the fourth as an NPP member of parliament. The current Speaker of Parliament was in the House. So it is not the first time that it is happening. And it's not only these two. We have the likes of Yakubu and the likes, who have all been in Parliament as independent candidates. And I've also been in Parliament, actually, in Boniface, in the case of Boniface, in succeeding terms. Third Republic as independent, Third Parliament as independent, and the Fourth Parliament as an MPP candidate. Nobody had an issue with it. Parliament says it's a house of records. So the records are there. These are not the first people to shift from independence particularly to a political party. So what is bringing this whole thing to the fore? That's why I ask if it's necessary. We have barely 2 months to the election. Perhaps it raises constitutional issues. Yeah. Couldn't we have dealt with this issue outside the premise of Parliament? Maybe looking at the constitutionality or with civil society or the political players, having a conversation. If it's the need for anybody to either interpret or ensure that such things do not seem to occur again in Parliament, then we'll look at it. I'm saying that it has happened before. Honorable Andrew is not the first person to move from an independent candidate to a political party. So why are we raising it? Is it necessary that now we have the legislature against the judiciary at horns with each other? 2 months, less than 2 months to the election. We don't need this. We didn't need this. It's unfortunate now the NDC would say, well, Professor Michael Quay was the first to do this. Well, it's also the NDC in Parliament who raised this issue, or who began this process where we find ourselves.
Because Article 97 says so.
Well, let's go to Article 97 and see what it says. See, Kafi, I may be, that is why interpretation becomes necessary here. I'm in Parliament. I have an issue with my party. And I decide I'm no longer a member of the party. But it's the same Parliament. Then you find me wrong. But in Parliament, the third, so we are in the 8th Parliament right now. The Speaker of Parliament cannot adduce what will happen in the 9th Parliament by saying that somebody is not qualified, or in his Parliament, because in the 9th Parliament, the person might be there. I think that is why it calls for interpretation there. Because if I'm a CPP member of Parliament and I decide that in the 9th Parliament, which I might be, which I would be, I shall be, right? In the 9th Parliament, and then I decide that, okay, going forward, I would no longer want to be part of my party. Right. So in the next Parliament, I would change. The Speaker, to my understanding, does not have any jurisdiction into the next Parliament.
You should deal with what is in front of you.
Article 97 is unambiguous. Okay. It is unambiguous.
Okay, let me hear from Saka first, because he hasn't spoken yet.
I think there's some good basis.
No, I'll come to you. Saka. Yeah. So he made a claim that your members have essentially thrown the former speaker under the bus by claiming that by what he did back then, which favored your party back then, was actually wrong. So they are righting the wrongs.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Good morning to my fellow panelists. And good morning to Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, our next president.
Is he here?
Busily campaigning.
Is he here?
Despite the noise people are making. And
I thought you were greeting people who are here.
Not only the people here, but those outside too. So let me just go straight. First of all, I don't understand the NDC folks. I think that it is as a result of the fact that they don't have message. And therefore they want to clutch onto non-issues. My brother was talking about the fact that Article 97 is clear and unambiguous. Does he actually know what clear and unambiguous is? In interpretation of a constitution, it is not what the ordinary person who understands English just read. First of all, there are so many ways of interpreting a constitution. You can take the ordinary meaning. You can take the MOPA.
What is MOPA?
That is a
modern purposive approach.
Purposive approach to
what does that mean for my
modern purposive? So you go for the purpose of which that particular provision was enacted.
And the MOPA stands for?
That's a MOPA.
What is it?
Modern purposive approach.
Okay.
Then you can the mischief rule, the golden rules.
What is the mischief rule?
The mischief rule, I mean, if there is a problem, and then you enact a law to kill that particular mischief. So there's always a reason for an enactment.
What about the golden rule?
Oh, the golden rule there is almost like the MOPA. You are not using the literal meaning, but you use the purpose.
You sound like a constitutional lawyer, are you?
No, I'm not, but a constitutional student.
Okay.
So I'm saying, if you look at Article 97, it is not as clear and unambiguous that he is talking about. It will only be clear and unambiguous to those who are using MOPA to do the interpretation. And that is the reason why Afenyo Markins sent the matter to the Supreme Court. And indeed, the Supreme Court is clothed with that jurisdiction to hear that. It is not the High Court. Because we are talking about interpretation. We are not talking about the fact that somebody has petitioned, so we should remove. That is the reason why I say that even in the first place, Bagbin has no jurisdiction. He has no right to even sit and declare a seat vacant.
He erred?
He erred in law.
So Michael Quay also erred?
Woefully. I mean, it doesn't matter whoever erred in the past.
No, you need to admit to that.
Yes.
You need to admit to that.
It doesn't matter, but you see, the facts of Michael Quay in the past and Bagbin's one are different. Excuse me.
Yes.
So
get your glasses.
So the facts.
So
the facts are different. In Michael Quay case, parties wrote to him that this person has breached and he's no longer with us. So that one you don't even need to do anything. So you just need to act. But in the case of Bagbin case, in the Bagbin case, he assumed. He take the place. He usurped the powers of the High Court. Oh, I am Bagbin. I can rule that this seat is vacant. When 99A 1 is very clear, Article 99 is very, very clear.
What does it say quickly?
Let me read 99. 99 says that the High Court shall have jurisdiction to hear and determine any question whether A person has been validly elected as a member of Parliament, or the seat of a member of Parliament has become vacant. So this is coming from the Constitution. And Bagbin says that he is a High Court. So he can declare the seat vacant. So the petitioners should have given their petition, should have taken the matter to court. Then the court will then inform Bagbin that these seats are vacant and therefore pronounce on them. And another thing that are some ridiculous things that I'm hearing from the NDC people, the court cannot intrude into what happened in Parliament. We are operating as the supremacy of the Constitution. Supremacy of the Constitution. So if your acts are in contravention with the Constitution, the Supreme Court can come in and ensure that they put the matters to a proper perspective.
Okay.
So Parliament is not above the law. And are you telling me that if you look at the last point. Yeah, if you look at Article 3.
Point made.
Article 3 in the Constitution says that Parliament shall have no powers to declare a one-party state. So I am saying that today, if Parliament decides to declare one-party state, are you telling me that the Supreme Court cannot come and put his foot down and say that, hey, what you are doing, you don't have that power?
You're stretching the argument.
Yes,
he's
really stretching
it.
Yes.
You're really stretching it.
So that's what I'm saying. And therefore, Bagbin and Co cannot say that, they will not obey the Supreme Court.
You've made your point.
They have no right. They dare not.
You've made your point.
He's clearly misconstruing the issues. he's clearly misconstruing the issues. And you know, I don't need to bandy around the fact that
student of the law?
I'm a lawyer, and I don't need to bandy that fact around to make a point. I mean, mentioning constitutional interpretation principles here does not make your argument solid. The issue here is Article 97 is clear. It says a member of parliament shall vacate his seat in parliament if he leaves the party of which he was a member at the time of his election. So if you entered parliament on the platform of the NPP, and then you seek to change that platform, then you've changed your political character in parliament.
Have they left their parties though?
They have, because you see the constitutions of the
What's the
parties. So first of all, you see, he says that in the Michael Quay issue, the party wrote to Michael Quay. But in this particular instance, these people have put themselves up for election, and they are in the notice of poll. And so the Speaker of Parliament took notice of that if you are in the notice of poll as an independent candidate, or if you are in the notice of poll as they are no longer a member of the party. And the constitutions of the parties are clear. People who decide to go independent automatically forfeit their membership of the party. And so you see,
assuming that somebody is an NDC member now, up until the end of the parliamentary term, but decides to run for MPP in December 7th. Exactly. How does Parliament treat him?
So once you entered Parliament as an NDC person, and now you change your political party membership. Which party do you belong to now? You belong to the NPP. And so can you say you are doing business with the NDC? You can't say so. So for instance, let me give an example.
Joseph is
if the NPP, hold on. If the leader of the NPP caucus today decides that he is no longer a member of the NPP, would anybody in the NPP caucus trust him to do business with the NPP? That's what the issue is about. Again, like I said, it's about the integrity of political representation. We're not factoring in what the people in the constituencies are thinking about this particular issue. But I elected my MP on the ticket of, say, NDC, and then my MP goes to Parliament and changes it. And you see, there's history to these issues. No, wait. There's history
as on a different ticket.
On a different ticket.
He hasn't changed his position in Parliament. He's still a member of the NPP in Parliament.
No. How does that even work?
Finish.
You see, there's precedent to this. There's history to this, with this cross-carpeting issues. You had situations where in the former republics, people enter Parliament on a certain ticket, and sometimes they are even cajoled or they are coerced into moving into a different political party. And so you sit in your constituency voting for an MP, he goes to Parliament, and then he joins a different Parliament. Because you see this argument they make about the prospective effect of Article 97, it makes the whole article ridiculous. If we are talking about future parliament, then what exactly is the essence of Article 97? Because then the term of that parliament would have come to an end in the first place. And so I think they are obfuscating the issues. And you see, this matter they also make about Babin, arrogating powers to himself and all that. Article 99 is to the effect of disputes. So for instance, if on the authority of Order 18, the Speaker of Parliament says that based on the facts that have been presented to me and based on the evidence available to me, especially on the notice of poll, I am informing the House that these people, these seats are vacant. If a person says, oh, Mr. Speaker, the facts are different, I hold a different view, the forum for the resolution of that dispute is the High Court. It doesn't mean that until the High Court makes that pronouncement, those seats cannot be declared.
Are your members risking a contempt of court?
Well, I mean, what is going to happen?
You can't justify the Supreme Court like that, though.
What is going to happen on Tuesday? I mean, to be honest, what I know through the press briefing of the NDC caucus, the majority caucus, is that they are going to defend their majority status in Parliament. That is what we know now. As it stands, per the ruling of the Speaker, they do have a majority status. And Parliament, like Mahama Yaga has said several times, Parliament does not make its decisions, or members of Parliament do not make their decisions based on information on social media. It will take the Speaker to inform members of Parliament that this is the information I received from the Supreme Court, and this is what we are going to do about it.
Alrighty. Okay, good. Joseph.
No, I was just trying to ask.
I wanted to give you some time to tell us why people of Accra should vote for you, because we're almost out of time.
No, he rebutted me.
Your time will come. Relax. I'm in charge here. Saka. As always. Joseph.
Well, foremost, to answer, for the past 20 years, in public service, in private service. I think I've developed myself in preparedness of service to my people, to the people of Okre. Okre, Odukrom, which is the capital of Okre, is my hometown.
Okay.
I have 2 houses, come from 2 different families there. I've been there, going there since my childhood, though I live in Tema. So as a person, I've prepared myself for it. Politically, you see the confusion we're having here, NDC, NPP.
It's not a healthy debate.
Well, it's becoming chaotic by the day. And if we say we are practicing multi-party democracy, we think that the people of Ghana, particularly this time I'm speaking to the people of Okre, should be able to make the difference and put able members or individuals who can also go to parliament and make the difference, and not just have anybody, because MPP present anybody, they put him there, because NDC presented. And this is the kind of chaos we are going to have. This particular 8th parliament has been chaotic because you have MPP and NDC just in parliament and doing what they are doing. I was going to ask, you see, an MP is elected for a 4-year tenure. If midstream, he or she decides to resign, then it makes Article 91 relevant.
Okay.
4 years, a year or 2 into my tenure, I resign. Or I decide I'm even angry with my party, so I'm shifting. Then I think that can be revoked. But not when I'm serving my full 4-year term, finished, and make a decision that going forward in the next parliament, I have a different option.
No, but they've already decided that they're going to vote somewhere else. So already we can see that they're not going to
vote. The current MP for Ekrapim,
on the day that they are voting, the term wouldn't have ended, but they are voting for a different seat.
But we don't, you see, to the point that the last time we had, the first crisis we had in this current parliament was a midnight transition.
Okay.
That one would have to be a member of parliament for the 7th parliament and then 8th parliament when that transition has to be. But I'm saying that until that had happened, the current MP for Ekrapim North is now contesting for another seat. She's still a member of parliament for Ekrapim North, but she's contesting for a constituency. What would you say about that?
A lot of interpretations, and I hope that tomorrow will be peaceful and then we'll get some good resolution of that. But thank you so much, Joseph Kojo Afare-Yeboah, parliamentary candidate for the Convention People's Party for Okre. Saka, you have a minute to tell us why Ghanaians will give you.
Yeah, my brother was talking about the fact that
you don't have time. You have a minute.
Oh, Article 97 was clear. I mean, it is clear that insofar as the person still remains with the MPP for that term, the person has not said that, oh, I will no longer do business with the MPP. And if it is not even clear, that is the reason why Afenyomakin has gone to the Supreme Court.
Are they still members of the party?
And they are. And Afenyomakin has gone to the Supreme Court for the Supreme Court to make a resolution. But before that, the Supreme Court says that, but what you have done is wrong, and therefore stay execution until the determination of the matter. Pardon?
They're just staying execution.
Yes,
pending the determination of the matter. So you can't say that. You can't say that.
So after the execution is stayed, then the pronouncement will come. Then a decision will be taken. But for Badmin to say, or anybody to want to say, that, oh, Badmin has an option to either refuse or not to refuse, he has no powers to say that he will not accept anything that he does other than to obey the Supreme Court, his contempt of court, and he will pay dearly for it.
Saka Salia, National Campaign Team, MPP. Saki Sosa, you have a minute, quickly.
So basically, look, I like I said, the double standards of the MPP have been exposed, and like I said, they've thrown Professor Michael Quay under the bus. That's what they've been doing. This chaotic governance we've seen needs a reset, and that's why the people of Ghana need to vote for John Dramani Mahama come December 7.
Saki Sosi, National Campaign Team member, NDC. Joseph Kojo Afare-Yeboah wants to represent the people of Okre for the CPP, and Saka Salia is National Communication Team member of the NPP. My name is Kafui Day, representing you who watch us here on the show every morning like this. We have conversations on the computer placement. We also have a CPP manifesto committee member here on the show to talk to us, and then we have an interesting chat at the end of the show, time with Afrofusion singer Kojo Black. So you stick around, don't go anywhere. This is GTV Breakfast. to talk about the computerized school selection and placement system. What's it all about? To have that conversation with us is the coordinator of the CSSPS, it's Mark Sasu Mensah. Mr. Mensah, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning
to the show.
Good morning.
Break down what this CSSPS is. Why did it have to come into being in Ghana?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Host. Maybe if I may know your name.
My name is Kafui.
Kafui Day. Thank you very much.
Yes,
thank you.
yes,
I'm
yeah,
Kafui
yeah.
Day. I think that let me use your platform just to greet your viewers for the kind of job that you've been doing for Mother Ghana.
Thank you.
For Mother Ghana. Kafui Day.
Yes.
You are doing very awesome. And
Thank
very
you.
Well.
Thank you very much.
Well, CSSPS actually stands for Computerized School Selection and Placement System. We are mandated to ensure that we place qualified BEC candidates. The word is qualified BEC candidate into the senior high schools, senior high technical schools, STEM schools, and that is the technical vocational education training.
What was happening before the computer system? How were people being placed?
Through manual system.
Okay.
They were doing it through manually. And when they were doing it manually, in fact, it was bringing a whole lot of confusion.
Like?
Because one, when you are in maybe, for example, Eastern region, you can't choose schools across Eastern region. Because when you choose the schools, those times the headmasters will gather at one region, choose the schools that they want. They were choosing the schools on the cards, Then they will give their, let's say, if they're not able to pick you, they have to send your card to the second school.
Okay.
And what about if Kafui Day, they don't send your card to the second school?
Okay.
You see that it was bringing a whole lot of confusion.
Yeah.
And it was not, let's say, nationalistic. Why? Because if you can't select your schools across Ghana. If you are in Eastern region, then you want to choose your schools from Eastern region. You have to select your schools from the whole Eastern region. But with the computerized school selection and placement system, you'll be able to choose your schools across all regions, no matter the circumstances. For instance, you can choose school from the Eastern region, your second choice from Central region, your third choice from Ashanti region, Prempeh, you understand this? So that's the main reason. And secondly, you couldn't, when government just want to do intervention, it makes it very difficult for you to do your intervention.
What do you mean by intervention?
Intervention, for example, when we actually brought in 30% public equity. When I say 30% public equity, I mean that when we came 2017, we saw that most of the candidates who actually get admissions into the first class schools were solely private students. For example, if you go to Wesley Girls, about 95-98% were coming from the private schools. So the government actually came in and said that no, we have to save the underprivileged. You understand? The vulnerable people in the society, so that they can also have access to the first class schools. That is why we brought this 30% public percent equity, so that at least all those first class schools, that vacancy that you declare, 30% might come from the public schools.
Okay.
You understand?
How do you ensure that quota is being respected?
It's really done. Because, for example, when we are doing the placement, we gather all those who choose the first class schools who are coming from the public schools. Then we process them. Then we put the 30% there. You understand? Before we come, we add both those who choose the public schools and the private schools. Then we do the additional 70% for them. I hope you understand it. So we combine it and get 100% for the total vacancy that declared in the various schools. So that is how we are able to ensure that at least, for example, if you heard it, in the last 4 years, there was somebody who had admission to, Every Girls, who had a grade 31. But when they did the order of merit, he was among the first 10.
How is that possible?
How is that possible?
Yeah.
Because,
31 should not give you the first 10.
Huh? I'm telling you that in the WAS and the BEC, there was somebody who was coming from a public school who had aggregate 31. But when he had access to Every Girls, as a result of 30% public
she
equity,
was able to go to Every Girls.
Every
even though
Girls.
She had 31.
Yes. But when Every Girls did their terminal exams, order of merit, she was among the first 10.
Okay, so she did well when she
Very
was there.
well.
Okay, so was given an opportunity to go and do well.
For example, even St. Peter's, where I attended, there was this when headmaster Diomi was there. He, I think we gave him a student who had, I think, almost 39 or so, but he went through the public equity system, and Diomi asked me, how can somebody get St. Peter's grade 39? But lo and behold, when the person had opportunity to go to St. Peter's, he did very well.
Okay.
So I'm telling you that this policy has actually come to help the vulnerable people in the society, and also help to open access to those who couldn't have even gotten admission to those schools. And again, please let me. It has also actually brought value addition in education. When I say value addition, what do you mean by value addition? If you get eight ones, and you go to Wesley Girls, and you get eight A's, you have not brought any value addition to that person.
Why not?
Because the person was already good.
Yeah, but don't you want to promote?
Yes, but when when the person get aggregate 17 or 21, then you tend that person to get aggregate 8 ones, then that means that you have brought a lot of value addition to that person's life. Because the person was not good in, let's say, the B's, he didn't perform well. But as a result of your strategy that you've been able to coach and teach the person, he has been able to get. That is where you have brought real value addition.
No, but the counter argument is that if the person did very well, shattered all the exams in BEC,
yes,
shattered all the exams at WASI, the person is just being consistently excellent, and that should also be.
Yes, but I'm also trying to come from the fact that when the person didn't do well, and you're able to groom that person to do well, you have actually added a lot of value, more than the person.
That's why you have the 30%.
Yes.
Good. How has free SHS impacted the CSSPS?
Well, you know, it has.
Now you have lots more people coming in.
Yes. Kafuri, thank you very much. I think this is a very great, fantastic question that you are actually asking. You know, it has so many ways. It has actually impacted in a very positive way. So many ways. How? Previously, when we came, the enrollment level was about 69 to 71% to 2016. I should have actually brought in my statistics from 2017 to 2023 so that you'll be able to know how the enrollment rate per every year.
Is it on your website?
No, I have not published, but I have it. I have it on my system. So if in 2017 we had almost about 90% enrollment rate, jumping from the 69 or 71% to 80, I think almost 90%. That means it has actually impacted the CSSPS very well, because previously, in fact, there were a lot of people who have admission into the school, into the secondary schools, but they wouldn't have the resources to go. You understand it? And if you quite remember, in 2017, you see that the facilities in the various schools, in the various senior high technical schools, were overstretched as a result of enrollment. We increased enrollment, and also let me also add it to the fact that it has also helped in ensuring that at least we are able to, in fact, bring those schools who were not doing well to do well, because the CSSPS has also helped to distribute students equitably. And as a result, that is why you could even really see that schools like APSEC are having 8 A's in their WASI exams. School like Nkwasco, Nkwetia Senior High, Presby Senior High School are having also 8 A's. School like Adesu Senior High School are also having 8 A's in their schools. So, and research has actually shown that when you are able to blend good students and average bad students, or maybe those who are not good, in fact, overall performance actually increases.
Mr. Tell us about the process. How do you make that? What's this? The process of selecting schools?
Okay, before I do that, let me give you the background, the statistics behind this year's placement. This year, I think that WAEC just, I think 3 days ago, on Saturday night, they released the results. And The receipt that we had from WAEC is 569,236 students that they released their results. And out of that, 282,703 are males. And 286,533 students are females. So it tells you that we have females more than the males. So these are the statistics that are there. And out of this, all these schools, the participating JHS schools were about 19,505. So we are going to place all this 569,203 by using 5 sets of data.
What are they?
One is the school register. The school register is like the Bible, where all the schools, the programs, and everything that they are doing is encapsulated. And the second data that we use is a master file or the biofile. The biofile is all the 569,000. Their data about them, they are males, they are female, you understand? And we have the choice file. The third data that we use to place the process and place students are the choice file. The choice file, in fact, tells us that the schools that the 579,000 they want to go. And the fourth one is the vacancy file. You know, the vacancy file are what the spaces that the schools, the STEM schools, the senior high schools, the senior high technical, they declare for that year that this is the vacancy spaces available.
And the fifth one?
The fifth one is called the results file.
Okay. How you performed?
No, the results are, yes. What the WAEC has actually released.
So the first one is the school register.
The school register.
How does that factor in private students? Private students don't go to any school. So how are they placed?
Private students?
Yes.
Oh, the private students are there.
So, but how do you classify them? Because you said the first one is the school register.
Yes.
Private students are not. Do they register under a school?
Okay, the choice files include both the private and the public schools.
Okay.
You understand? For instance, we have a platform where all the private students, they'll give us the private student is added to the choice file, then we do it. And the private, let me explain this. We have 2 types of private schools. We have the public schools and private schools. And we have private students, those who wrote as private students.
That's what I was talking about.
Yes.
Yes. How do you place them?
Yes, we have a platform where they will go there, they will bring all their documents. Then we will process and place them.
Okay.
Yes.
Just a couple of days ago, this is on October 12th, GES announced that the 2024 computerized school selection and placement system for senior high schools has encountered some difficulties. It said there were mistakes made by students during the selection process, which have led to issues with identifying their placement status. How did that happen? What kind of mistakes will make this kind of thing happen?
Well, I don't know where the website that you picked that information from.
No, it's not about the web. This is from the newspaper. This is from the Daily Guide. Talking about GES addressing 2024 placement challenges. There are no challenges with the placement this year?
Oh, for now, for what I know, we have never encountered any challenges. So far, yes. Because all this set of data that I'm trying to tell you, they are available for us to do the placement. So
what kind of mistakes can a student make with selection?
Yes.
What are the problems?
The problem that they normally commit, that we have, is the errors that they commit.
What kind of errors can be committed?
One, the errors could be their name. They misspell their names. 2, their program choices. For instance, if the computer does not know anything like science, but it recognizes the science as 501. Please, are you getting it? So if you go and choose 502, then it means that you have chosen general arts instead of general science. So that is why all these things are captured in the school register. That when you are registering, when you are selecting the schools, you should be very meticulous.
Do you train? Is there any training for people to fill these, to fill the form? It's an online system, is it not? The computer system. How do they fill?
You go to www.waec.org
All right.
and just select your schools. But apart from that, this year August, GES, Free SHS, TVET, all the STEM schools went to, because we have something called public sensitization. We've trained all the GSPROs just to go down to ensure that they actually sensitize them on this year's policy. Because every year we have new policies that actually we initiate, just to ensure that the challenges that we had the previous year, we'll be able to resolve those challenges. So in the month of August, we went around the whole country to go and do public sensitization for all the people just to know.
As we speak, have the students been placed to their various secondary schools?
No, we have not yet.
So is this now that you're going to start the process?
Yes, we started the process.
Okay, so people have to go. How do people log on? They go to the WAEC site?
No, they go to csps.gov.gh.
Okay.
Yes.
I want to have a look at what it looks like.
Yes.
Is it live?
Yeah. For now, because we are still in the process, it is not live now, because we are still in the process. But when
because I've gone there, I'm not be able to get through. When will you be live?
Well, our expectation was that maybe a week before the 30th that they will reopen school, we will be able to release the placement.
Wouldn't that put a lot of pressure on you?
Well, once that we've had all the data, there's 5 sets of data available, I believe that we'll be able to do, because this time around we perform under a lot of pressure, and definitely we will do it. We have always done it, and we will do it.
How do you deal with the fraudsters who claim that they can place you?
Well, I know Director General, Honorable Minister, Director General for TVET and all those they've had a meeting on that with the national that is the security agencies to ensure they make do with all these kind of fraudsters that come in. Because, and this year particularly, this being election year, people will capitalize on it and try to maybe cause mayhem in the system. We want to tell them and warn them that the security agencies are wide awake. And if anybody actually does that, I think that they'll be picked. Yes.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell us about the CSSPS?
Yes, Mr. Kafudi, I think it is very important for people just to know this information. People only think that is the only regular candidate that we normally place them, but that is not it. One, we process and place 3 types of students. One, the regular student. The regular students are the people that the YS have actually released their results. The private students are the one that you also talked about. You understand? So we process and place the private student. And we have the foreign students. People don't really know that. When your mom or your dad is a Ghanaian, but he is outside the country, or you are living or you attended school outside Ghana, and you want to come back to, you want to come in school in Ghana, you have the right to also attend school in Ghana. So such people, we normally conduct exams for them. And when you pass the exams, you bring your details, we process and place you. So those are called the foreign students. And we have the re-entry students. The re-entry students are the people that maybe last year, because of maybe ill health, they were placed but they weren't able to go to school. Or because maybe they thought that the grades were not good, so they couldn't maybe. So they had the grades, and they were able to maybe they didn't go to school. So they have all the right to also bring their details to us. Then we process and place them. There were some ladies that asked us along the line, especially the women's right. Along the way, maybe they get pregnant. So are you going to tell us that you actually leave those people behind? They wouldn't go to school. So such people also have the right after they have delivered to also continue in their school. So these are some of all these things.
All right. Well, we wish you the very best.
Thank you, Kafudi. May God bless you for this morning show. I think it has been very successful.
Yes, indeed. A lot of education has gone down on the computerized school selection and placement system, and the coordinator of the CSSPS is Mark Sasu Mensah. Thank you so much.
So thank you, Kafudi. May God bless you so much.
God bless you too. You're watching GTV Breakfast, and we'll be handing over to Jay, who is out and about in the vicinity of the Electoral Commission, and he brings us a report, keeping an eye on 1 or 2 things there. Jay, good morning. What can you report this morning? We'll take a break, and hopefully Jay will resurface like a good spirit. Stick around, don't go anywhere.
Nationwide strike concerning institution-specific allowances for institutions on the single-spine salary structure. So this morning we're reporting live on the Electoral Commission, where you can see from the environment that the strike is in full effect. If you look just behind me, it's a Monday morning, early morning, and yet the place is quite devoid of life at the moment. It's just cars parked, and then the number of people here has been diminished significantly. This strike is because of the failure, PSWU says, is the failure of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, FWSC, to honor their request for institution-specific allowances for public service workers union member organizations subsisting on a single spine pay policy. As a result of this, they are left with no other option than to reactivate their previously communicated industrial action. So starting today, that's what you see with the strike action currently going on. And from tomorrow, they advise members to press on their demands by wearing red bands on their hands and on their hands as well. Some of the institutions will be affected by the PSW member organizations are the Internal Audit Agency, the National Commission for Civic Education, Ghana Statistical Service, Ghana Standards Authority, the Ghana Meteorological Agency, the Veteran Administration of Ghana, the National Media Commission, the Nuclear Regulatory Authority, and of course the Electoral Commission, where we are presently. So at the moment, the nationwide strike has begun, and we don't know when it will be resolved. From looking at the environment, we're making checks in and around all the institutions that have embarked on the strike, and we'll be bringing you updates as and when. But for now, at the Electoral Commission, there is no sign of life at the moment. The strike is still on. They want their allowances, and if you look around me, currently, the workers are ensuring the strike is on, pressing home their demands. So this is the report we have for you from the Electoral Commission. We'll be moving to other places as well, so we'll be bringing you updates as and when during the broadcast. Please stay with us. The show continues right after this.
kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Can't twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak just my mind. Oh. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're chilling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, 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 oh,
devastating effects that it's causing to our water bodies. 47 days to election day. There's a lot happening in the political terrain now with the wrestle for power. You've seen what's happening in Parliament with the whole minority-majority brouhaha. Well, today we sit with another party, a member of the manifesto committee of that party, and he's here to tout the policies of the party, who are hoping that by January 2025 they will be the majority in Parliament and they will be leading Ghana with their presidential candidates and their running mate as the president and vice president of this country. Today, the focus is on the Convention People's Party, CPP's manifesto. And in the studio with us is Kwesi Adakwa. As I said, he's a member of the CPP's manifesto Committee. Mr. Dakwa, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Titi. Nice to be here.
Nice to have you. We've had your flag bearer and your running mates come and re-echo all these policies that, you know, they are planning for rescuing this country, as they say, the agro-shore, the Ghana shares.
Sure.
Send us your questions to Mr. Dakwa on 055 556 1034, 055 556 1034. We're streaming on GTV Ghana on Facebook. You can leave us your questions there as well. I'll read them to him for him to address them. He's going to be talking about urban housing and, you know, development, industrialization, agriculture, and constitutional reforms. These are things that are prime and people talk about. Now, let's begin with housing. 1.8 million housing deficit remains a dark cloud. It's one story I'm seeing, you know, on Business and Financial Times, and it's not very far away. It was on September 24, 2024. So the housing issues, rent issues. I was just asking some of, you know, our team on the BFS, how much is a single room today if you want to rent in Accra, and it's costing 500 to 700 Ghana cedis. Is it affordable enough for the ordinary Ghanaian, Mr. Dakwa?
Well, I mean, as you yourself have mentioned, housing is really an issue. The CPP, from its history, has always been the party that believes in building real wealth for everybody, not just a few people. We also are the party that actually put in a lot of effort in mass housing. I mean, if you believe, I mean, there were housing development in Nkrumah's time in Ringway Estate, the Bubuashi area, the low-cost housing at Kanishi, Zongo Junction, that's around Latibi Okoshi. Then the matter of all, the new township of Tema was built, and there were housing development everywhere in Ghana, from Tamale to all the cities in Ghana, Takwa. I mean, this is all found in the 7-year development plan that Nkrumah left, that should have taken us to middle income in 1970. So, what do we have to offer Ghanaians this year? Well, if you're a young person, if you are somebody working, the CPP is a party that has ideas for housing delivery for you. The housing delivery is not just delivery of housing alone. It is integrated into the total urban and community development of the country. So we are not going to say, oh, we are going to give you a few blocks of housing in this area and this area. It is going to be integrated into the urban and community development everywhere in Ghana. Now, the building blocks or the first principles of our plan is that basically our plan, we're calling it housing for jobs and wealth. The first point I want to make is that if you want to build a 2-bedroom house, I mean, we've had architects on our team who have done the estimates for us. You need a minimum of 13 different professionals and trades. You need an architect, a civil engineer, you need a quantity surveyor, you need those who are going to lay the blocks. Then you are also needing electricians, plumbers. There's a whole list of trades that are going to be employed. Then secondly, you also have a situation where the housing development itself generates wealth, because a house is one of the few assets that accumulates or improves in its value over time. So CPP is saying that we are going to establish a housing development policy that, number one, delivers housing for people, number two, creates wealth and jobs because the houses are going to appreciate in value, and then the third is the job creation, because all this lot of people who are going to be employed to do the work. I didn't even talk about the incendiary and the other connecting job creators. So if they are building, they are buying blocks, they are buying cement, they are buying iron rods, they are buying so many building materials. Those are jobs. The workers that are going to be working on the site, they are going to be fed. those are jobs. The workers that are going to also drive the people around, drivers, those are jobs. You also have accountants and marketers and estate developers. It's a whole chain of jobs.
And let me just jump in there because, well, there's going to empower these people. What about the cost of the building materials? Because landlords who say that, well, I'm doing renovations and that's why all the time the rent has to go up. A bag of cement costs over 100 cedis now.
Sure. So the first thing that we want to establish is that the state as a CPP will have a key stake in the housing policy that we are going to roll out. That's going to deliver housing for everybody. When the state is involved, then the state has a big muscle to control a lot of prices and a lot of the factors within the chain. Now, if we are talking about the cost of the building materials, before I come there, one of the key factors based on our research for high housing cost in Ghana, especially in Accra and urban areas, is land. The lands the tenure is not very well known. There's a lot of multiple buying and multiple sales. There's a lot of, even within the courts, there are issues of multiple judgments favoring different owners. So that's one aspect. What the CPP is going to do is that the CPP is going to harmonize housing database using blockchain technology, where we are going to digitize all the lands, register, and also register all the places where there are conflicts. Where there are multiple sales, we resolve them. Then secondly, we are also going to make sure that the state will acquire parcels of lands. The parcels of land that the state will acquire will now be used for urban development and then also for housing development. Now we come to the building materials. The building materials basically is based on the macro environment. The high inflation, the high income interest rate are causing, and then the exchange rate, because we are importing a lot of the inputs for housing. Now, if we follow our economic development plan, which we are going to talk about soon, but basically what it means is that we are going to stabilize the macro environment to make sure that these prices are low. Then also the government is going to invest heavily in mass housing by acquiring a lot of building materials in bulk. We are not going to have a few people doing a few things. So what we are going to do is we're going to put various teams together. First of all, acquire the land, prepare the land, do a community plan, and then also make sure that we are bringing teams together of a team of various technicians together to be able to start building these houses.
Are we still going to be importing the materials, or we are going to locally make them like cement?
Okay, so our material plan is basically to, first of all, invest in the research and development of our local building materials. Indeed, if you have been to Upper East and Upper West before, and you look at how they build their houses, where they even have some houses decorated by the women with very nice colors. There's nothing that says that all the building in Ghana should be made of sand crates and cement blocks. We are going to design various housing units that are going to leverage on all the materials within the country. Where we need to have cement and other iron rods and things that have to be imported, we already have the capacity to build the factories within Ghana and make sure we produce them here to ensure that the prices are low. And one of the key aspects of our industrialization policy is that the government is going to spearhead industrial development. And that spearheading is also going to affect our housing development through investment in the factories that provide the raw materials for housing.
Okay.
Now, I want to just make a point that, first, what the strategy for housing to make it affordable is that, first, when CPP talks about affordable housing, in fact, we don't even want to talk about affordable housing. We want to talk about availability of housing to each family and their income needs. So when we talk about that, what we are trying to say is that every family in Ghana over the next 10 years must have either rental housing unit or own house. Now, the other aspect is that when we talk about housing, housing is a lifetime investment. So we don't expect anybody to accumulate a big sum of money before they can get access to a house.
Okay.
So the CPP plan is based on long-term stable financing to finance the housing development, state backing of the housing development, and then also the other parties using the muscle of the state to acquire lands and harmonize the use of the lands.
How do Ghanaians have confidence that when the state acquires all of this, you're not going to sell it to yourselves and some political actors?
Well, you know, that is one of the things that has become a tragedy, because in Ghana, we need to stop thinking individualistic and also stop thinking short-termism. You see, if you buy all the available lands and empty lands that are state-owned, and you build your mansions in the choice areas, you definitely will be a wealthy person. The person who will clean your house, where would he live to come and work for you? The security man, where will he live? Should he live in Kaswa and always be late to come and work for you? So our idea is that the CPP believes in collective ownership, state ownership of assets.
Okay. Let's tie it to industrialization. Since we mentioned, putting up factories that would do local production, Dr. Nkrumah, is a shining example, some would say, of industrialization, looking at over 200 factories that he built. Mm-hmm. What's this current CPP's legacy going to be like with industrialization? Okay, so our industrial policies for this election is basically inspired by what you mentioned, our history. We have some first principles that we want to lay on the ground. The first thing is that industrialization or manufacturing is the only way to change the structure of Ghana's economy. We all talk about the Gagisberg economy and all those things, and we all desire that the economy must be, the structure must be changed. Industrialization is the first step. Without industrialization, you cannot be able to develop and turn over your natural resources and the things that you take from nature to add value to it. So you need to add value. So you need to industrialize. Industrialization also is one of the few areas where you can have mass employment with steady rising wages and incomes. Then our next first principle is that looking at our economy and the history of our colonization and extractive sector nature of the economy, the state must take the lead in that industrialization and manufacturing in changing the structure of the economy. So CPP is going to reintroduce Nkrumah's state-led industrialization policy. And what does that mean? What it means is that the state is going to take the lead in building factories, in also making sure that these factories work to change our economic circumstances. How does that tie into empowerment and employment of the youth as well?
Oh, as I said, when you are trying to change the structure of the economy, you need to now move to productive sectors. So the first thing we want to do is to state that the industrialization policy is underpinned by a number of principles. The first principle, one principle is this: we are going to do export-led industrialization. And what is export-led industrialization? When you are able to produce and sell to other nations, that is where you're able to build your reserves and your currency stabilizes. Now, by building factories to produce and export, then you can now be able to employ a lot of people. And within our plan, we have a strategy to have the skills that we want to develop. We are going to train people from all the way from the lower level to use their hands and to think about design and how to make things and how to turn things over. And we are saying we want to build a make society, a maker society, a creating and maker society. That society, from childbirth to when you are grown, you are imbued with the idea that everything that you see is coming from turning over something.
All right.
Everything here. So you need to start thinking about how you do it. Okay. And how you do it is that we need to bring together all the minds of the society that has the skills. So we are going to train every year 10,000 engineers, different kinds of engineers, who will be working to design and to produce the various articles that we need to produce.
Right. Let's tie it into agriculture, since we're talking about industrialization, providing infrastructure, farmers and losses or post-harvest losses, where to keep the produce, the ready markets for them, and the exportation and the competition with imports.
Okay, so just to pick up with the industrial, one of the things that we talk about industrialization is linkages, forward and backward linkages. Industrialization doesn't happen when you don't have. So one of the key issues that we used to have was that if you want to have an export-led industrialization in, let's say, the agro processing sector, you need to be able to ensure that you have the produce being produced at a consistent rate to be able to feed your industry. So agriculture, we have the AgroSure, and this is one of the most revolutionary ideas from the CPP, and Ghanaians must take note. If you look at the data says that from the GLSS, Ghana Living Standard Survey, published by the Statistical Service, the GLSS says that the poorest Ghanaians are mostly farmers. And farmers are mostly women. And the poorest farmers are the ones who do food production. Now, what do we see? What we see is that when people produce their goods, their produce, it gets rotten on the farm. That is unconscionable. We shouldn't encourage that. So AgroSure, that is the anchor of our agricultural policy, says that you, the farmer, your main job is to produce. When you produce and you don't have a market, call the government. The CPP government, a CPP-led government in Ghana, will take that produce from your hands so that it doesn't get rotten and you get income. Now let's think about it. Why do we think that the cocoa industry took off and became successful? It's because of this guaranteed price and access to markets. And CPP is going to anchor our agricultural policy on this idea.
How are you going to make cocoa as attractive as it used to be instead of turning it into galamsey pits?
Well, let me just finish AgroSure. I'll come to cocoa because I mean the AgroSure is basically because now the food crop farmers have been left behind. They are the poorest of the poorest in Ghana. They don't have incomes. Their incomes are so low. It's because they don't have access to market. And they don't have access to market because they don't have infrastructure. And their production system is very tiny, a few acres or maybe less than a few acres, 1 acre. And also the lack of inputs, the lack of infrastructure, the lack of dams. All this makes sure that the productivity is low. And not only the productivity is low, they are not able to access markets. So the CPP is going to build agro centers across the country. And these agro centers are going to have machinery. We are going to mechanize whether it is big farms or small farms. We want to do away with the drudgery of hoe and cutlass. It is not productive. You can't send somebody to go and use hoe and cutlass to weed 2 acres. That is not going to make us a prosperous nation. So we want to mechanize agric. There are small machines that can even weed under trees. We are going to make sure all farmers get this in the agro centers. There's going to be tractors in all the farming zones. Then we are also going to have the seeds. And the seeds, I want Ghanaians to know that CPP is against GMOs. We are going to, there is no a reason why somebody should be given the intellectual property right to seed. Seed is a natural bio product. So CPP is going to cultivate high-yielding seeds, distribute to farmers, give them all the input that they need, and guarantee them the market.
Okay.
That is there. Then the cocoa sector.
Right.
Yes,
land on that
yes,
for
the
me,
cocoa
so that-
sector. What we, the CPP, thinks is that, let's not forget, Ghana became the top producer of cocoa, and we only lost that in 1968. You see, that's when we lost the top
position.
Okay. And since then, there have been ups and downs. The main issue about, maybe let me link it to the Galamsey. First of all, I want to make it clear that when we say Galamsey, people will say, oh, we've had Galamsey since time immemorial. That's not the case. We've always mined in Ghana. We've mined in Ghana. We used to be called the Gold Coast. It wasn't for nothing.
So what's different now?
What is different now is the breakdown of governance in the extractive sector. And that is where we are facing. It cannot be right that now we have told ourselves that everywhere cocoa gold is found, we will mine it. That is not sensible. CPP rejects that notion. So CPP, in terms of its solution to the Galamsey and, of course, feeding into cocoa sector, the first thing we do is that we want to map the whole country and map where there is gold. But we are going to say that these places, even if there's gold, we will never mine it because we can't mine everywhere.
Even if we find gold in forest reserves and water bodies, that currently we are seeing.
Even not just forest reserve and water bodies. If we are mining everywhere, where are we going to plant our crops to eat? We can't do that. So let's say today we find the most precious metal underneath the Parliament House. Are we going to break the Parliament House to go and mine it? We can't do that. We can't mine everywhere. So we are going to publish a map and say these are the red zones. No mining in those zones. In fact, that is the solution we are proposing for the solution to Galamsey right now. That's where it. So when you exclude those places, then you can now police the places that mining is allowed. And of course, the places that are excluded will include the forest reserves, the ecologically sensitive zones, and then also the water bodies and where agriculture is going on. I mean, if they are mining behind a police station, I mean, what kind of society are we becoming?
Okay.
So that's one thing. Then we also want to ask ourselves, how did we end up with mining in forest reserve and cutting down cocoa trees? I have done some work with Third World Network before, and Third World Network had a program on mining, extractive sector. What we realized was that from the 1980s coming, late 80s, when we brought in the foreign investors and we had the liberalized system of economy, what we did was that we now relaxed the environmental rules. Previously, mining was mostly underground. All the big miners were underground, so they were non-invasive. But what we have now is that we have mining on the surface.
Okay.
And those days, the big mines, they started cutting down cocoa trees. Let's not forget.
Right.
When they come to your farm, they will value your cocoa trees. I remember there was one report that I read. They used to value one cocoa tree for 13 cedis. They cut it down. That was in the 80s, 90s coming. So the government sanctioned the cutting down of cocoa trees first to mine. Now, where we are now is that we are totally out of control because we have come to this realization that some people said, oh, let's do Galamsey.
Okay.
Let's do small scale
And what's
mining.
CPP doing? Are you banning small scale mining, large scale mining? What are you doing about Galamsey?
Yes. The Galamsey proposal we have, the first one is to have the exclusion zones, the red zones.
Zone.
Then the second one is that we are not going to ban mining. In fact, we are actually happy because CPP was one of the few parties that kept saying that we must indigenize our mining so that the revenue stays here. Mining by nature is enclave economy. Enclave means that the money stays within. So if Ghanaians get involved, we like it. But we don't want the situation where we stretch that one to say that now you can do anything you want. So what CPP wants to bring on board is that we are going to create 3 categories of mining. We will have the cooperative mining. CPP believes in cooperatives, where people come together and mine. The state is going to negotiate all the mining leases with all the big mining multinationals. They sit on acres and acres of rich gold reserves. So we are going to negotiate with them and take portions. Then the mining law says that every mining operation should have a 10% government carried interest. So CPP government is going to actually extend that and say, all these individuals that have come together to do the mining, we are going to work with you, and the state will be part of that mining operation. All the small scales mining, cooperative, in one rich area acquired from the big mining companies. Then, when we have that, the state will now bring in the regulators as part of the company that will be mining. So the government will no longer be sitting somewhere and trying to control people. The government is part of the mining. Then we will formalize these mines.
That's the third approach?
No, we will formalize this same cooperative. That's one aspect. We will formalize this mines.
I want us to move to the constitutional reform, so if you can land on that.
Yes, but this is very important.
Almost out of time.
We will formalize these mines, and the state will get all the revenue because the state will buy the gold right at the foundry. Then the next one is to have Ghanaian mining companies who want to do their own thing, not as cooperative, but companies. Then those people also have government interest, and they will be regulated, and the laws on environmental protection will be applied to them just like it applies to all the big mining companies. And the state will also have a high stake in that mining concession.
Okay, I'm sitting with a member of the Manifesto Committee of the Convention People's Party, and he's talked about the agro-show. We just talked about mining and the 3 aspects of how they will be dealing with that, how the state will be involved, and how to work with cooperatives. He's talked about housing and urban development, long-term financing and state backing. Send your questions on 055-556-1034 or alternatively on our GTV Ghana stream on Facebook. Let's talk about constitutional reforms. There's been calls for our constitution to be reformed. Is the constitution outdated to the CPP? What aspects of it are you looking at?
Well, there will never be any constitution that is outdated. In fact, what the CPP believes is that our prosperity will rest on a strong building block. And the building block is the governance system that will direct how most of our activities are performed. And what we are thinking, we are seeing is that there's a lot of defects in the building blocks of our society in terms of the constitution and how we do our governance. The first thing we want to talk about is that we want a governance system that is grassroots based, accountable, and stakeholder participation at the forefront. We also want a constitution that doesn't give a lot of power to one person or one individual. We also want a constitution that does not have few levels of accountability.
Does the constitution give power to one individual as it stands now? Is that what you're saying?
We are having a situation where one person is asked to appoint over 6,000 people. That cannot be. We're having a constitution where one person can appoint the Supreme Court judges, the electoral commissioner, the how do you call him?
So how do you intend to do that?
Excellent. So let me just zoom in. The first thing is that we want a decentralized system of governance. So we want first of all, we want not more than 100 districts in Ghana. And all the districts are going to have chief executives who are directly elected. The CPP prefers a non-partisan election of MMDCs.
Okay.
Then the second thing is that we will do away with the 30% appointee of the president for the assembly election. We do away with that. Then we also are saying that for accountability to reign, because corruption is an issue in Ghana, we are talking about having 3 different prosecutors in every district, in every region, and nationally.
3 different prosecutors.
Yes.
Like the special prosecutors.
Exactly.
Also, you're going to have them in the districts.
Exactly.
3 in every district.
Yes. We will not have 1 national special prosecutor.
Is that not a lot?
So let me, you see, to hold
Because
people...
people talk about bloated governments.
Oh, no. Bloated government is not those who are actually doing the work to protect our future. That's not bloated. In fact, CPP believes that the state should do many things and do it efficiently. So CPP says that we want 3 different national prosecutors. 1 is going to be for constitutional issues, 1 for economic crimes, and 1 for criminal offenses. All of them will be elected through an electoral college. Then we are also saying that every region will have this replicated, all of them elected by electoral college and down to the districts. The logic is this. We know that when people have to renew their mandates, they are forced to perform. And when you don't perform, and let's say you are a lawyer and you are so much interested in anti-corruption and you are always talking about it, but you don't have any agency to pursue anti-corruption. But then they open a position that, hey, you can put yourself up to become a regional prosecutor. You go, you get elected, you do the job. And if you don't do the job, 5 years, 7 years, you are taken off. The next thing is that when there's these 3 people, let's say somebody steals money, of government money, there are 2 issues involved. There's a criminal aspect of the stealing, and there's the economic crime aspect. If the one who is supposed to prosecute the economic crime says, maybe I know him, he's my classmate, maybe the one who is supposed to prosecute the criminal matter will take it up.
Okay.
And then we are also going to say that all government contracts of a certain level will have to be published. So you hear that they've gone to sign this contract and it's not good for the country. The first thing you ask yourself, who signed that contract? Why did he sign that bad contract? So we want to have a repository of government contract where they will publish all contracts as soon as they are signed, so that we can have oversight.
So these are the reforms.
And then we are also saying that let's not kid ourselves. Justice is political. As much as we can say justice is not something that is technical. So those countries that are realists, they say that, like America, they say that we are a political country. Everybody has his own idea about politics. So the Republicans will nominate a conservative judge, and the Democrats will nominate a liberal judge.
Okay.
And when they sit on this, they balance. But here, we lie to ourselves that justice is blind. Please, justice is not blind. Justice has interest. Justice has... So first of all, we are saying that the Supreme Court judge of Ghana, CPP says that the Supreme Court judges, their position will be advertised. So if you are qualified, there will be a qualification criteria. You apply for it. Then there will be an electoral college that will vote, including Parliament and Council of State and other things, will vote for that body.
Okay.
And then they will have a term limit.
Right.
You see, if you don't have a term limit, that is where the abuse... Because if you have a position for life, it's very easy and very tempting for you to do that. Then one of the things I want to say is that we don't need a 275-member parliament as Ghana. We can do with 100 maximum. And if we have to do...
100 MPs?
Yes, if you have to do redistricting, what we do is that if the population of this place swells up, then we cut that population to the smaller places which doesn't have population. So that we have 100 members of parliament maximum.
Okay.
And those members of parliament will not sit for the whole year debating, No. They will have a legislative period So if it is 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, they come and sit, consider the budget, approve whatever they approve, pass the laws, and do everything.
Okay.
We don't need, and then one or two things too. Wait, please, this is very important.
We
I need
have
to
to
say
go.
this.
Mm-hmm.
Elections. What we are having in Ghana is called competitive political competitive elections, not democracy, because everything is driven by somebody getting vote. And what we CPP is proposing is that, first of all, election is about marketing, and marketing is about money. Where do the people get the money to run all these electoral operations? Paying delegates, buying everything, T-shirts, going around the country about 10 times. That's logistics. It's money. So we are asking that we have electoral finance reforms, where if you want to run for office, you open a bank account and you declare that bank account with the Electoral Commission. The every single expenditure that you do on the election should come from that bank account, and you must account for it.
You seem to have a lot in store
There's
on
a
the
lot that
constitutional
CPP,
reforms that
yes.
will definitely have you back on.
Yes.
But 58 years out of power, what have you been doing to stay relevant and believe that Ghanaians should give you the nod?
Well, CPP, let's put the history right. CPP is the only party, even though it got independence, it's the only party on this land called Ghana that was banned. Kwame Nkrumah's effigy was a crime to possess. CPP was a crime. All the members were given years that you can. So that's how come Imori Gala could not become president, and they had to bring in Liman. CPP has been suppressed deliberately by a lot of forces, both internal and external. So CPP, as we speak here, the first time CPP in this 92 Republican Constitution era went on the ballot was 2000 election. Before that, we used to give ourselves different names, CP, NIC, because we couldn't use the CPP.
And from 2000, what have you
So
done
from
to remain
2000
relevant?
up till now, CPP has brought out a lot of policies that are being implemented wrongly. For instance, industrialization. We are seeing what we are seeing.
And why do you think Ghanaians are not still giving you the nod since 2000, when you brought out the policies and we've had various elections till this 8 parliament?
Well, I mean, you know, as I said, we were suppressed. So most of our members found themselves in other places. And then also, we ourselves have also not helped ourselves in some instances. But there's a new crop of people in the CPP, both young and old, that are ready to, if you go to the campuses, we are organizing there. Most of the young people are getting to know.
What's that one sentence you tell the young people to have confidence in your reposed confidence that you are the best to lead?
If you're a young person in Ghana, first of all, you need to live. And to live, you need to get a job. And to live, you need to eat. And to live, you need to live in a decent housing and then be able to live your life well. The CPP is the one that has an integrated set of policies and ideas that will take you to that promised land, so that you will not have to travel to go and get jobs somewhere, but you live here and contribute to build a new Ghanaian society and civilization.
Thank you so much. Kwesi Adakwa is a member of the Manifesto Committee of the Convention People's Party. He's talked about urban development. That's just what he talked about. Agro-shore, agric, mining, constitutional reforms. That's our segment for Manifesto Watch this Monday. I am Altiti Saida Sadiq. We're back with more on GTV Breakfast. Do stay with us.
chilling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry.
To 10 o'clock, and members of the Public Service Workers Union set to be going on an indefinite strike starting today, Monday 21 October 2024. This strike is in response to the government's failure to meet the demands for institution-specific allowances, despite several attempts to resolve the issue. So the PSWU has expressed frustration over the GOG's refusal to honor these allowances, which they say has added to the financial strain that public service workers are experiencing. They've been pushing for implementation of allowances that reflect the unique challenges faced by members within specific institutions. Now, In response to the impending strike, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission has urged the PSW to reconsider its decision. And they stated that the strike would disrupt ongoing negotiations and prevent further discussions on the matter. So that's what we're looking at right now. So Public Fair Wages Commission is asking the workers in the Public Services Workers Union to call off the strike. And that was what they said last week. And our man Jay went around to see exactly what the situation is. But that's what we have right now. So the commission said on September 19th, earlier this year, the PSW submitted a proposal asking for 2 institution-specific allowances to all 46 PSW member organizations. And in the same letter, they threatened to embark on a strike action if their demands were not met. So that's where we are right now. I'm looking at what's trending right now, and BEC result checker is a big trend. Since the results were released, people are checking to find out what their state and their fate and their destiny is, whether Free SHS will be part of their plans, or maybe they have to do some rewrites and things like that. So that's trending quite highly in Ghana. So good luck to all the BEC people who wrote the exams, and I hope that you get what you deserved. Yeah. So that's a big trend. There are a lot of sports stories in the trends, but for now, I think BEC is quite a big one. Yeah. And if there's anything you want to complain about or just commend somebody for, please pick up the phone, give me a call, and I'd love to hear from you. Okay? Number is right there on the screen. I can't see it. The screen is far away, but it's there. 0543 664 264, I believe. Yeah, 0543 664 264. Pick up the phone, give me a call, tell me what's on your mind this morning, and we'll let the whole of Ghana know exactly what it is. In the top of the trends on X, Salifo Mwaku is top of the trends, followed by Supreme Court. Then we have Bantama. BEC is also in the trends. Muhammad Kudus is in the trends. Yeah, I saw his action on the game, on the pitch over the weekend. Scored a good goal and then got sent off for fighting, really. Adisco is in the trends, crashing out of the National Science and Maths quiz. Shatawale is in the trends. By the way, my Baba looks a lot like Shatawale. Tomorrow I'm going to post a picture of my Baba, and you will see what I'm talking about. And my Baba was also born maybe 2 days after Shatta was born. I mean, in the month, I don't know the year, but he celebrated his birthday 2 days ago, or 3 days ago. Shatta was October 17th. My Baba is October 19th. Don Silva. Yeah, so tomorrow I'll post that picture, God willing, and then you will determine whether he's the one. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the show. Hello. Yes, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from? What's on your mind? Oh, Toby Ghana. Good morning. Yeah, we're there inside. Oh, what's up? What's on your mind this morning, man?
Ghana.
Yes.
I'm calling us only to Makina.
Yeah, man.
Yes, I want us to really share all these involved with the issue.
Right? Yeah, man.
Try to prosecute all of them. Try to actually make sure we find an end to this actually, because it's really bad. And also don't giving the permission and grants to people to go and mine in our forest. I think it's not right. We have to fight that.
Yep. Name and shame all of those.
We have to make sure we try to keep our country clean,
Yeah.
Likewise, I'll be cleaning the beach and paying people to clean the beach for several years now. And we really looking for the government to partner with us so that actually buy more and pay people and continue doing this work, because so much trash from the beach, the beach trash.
Yeah.
From there as well.
Alrighty. Toby Ghana, thank you so much. That's Toby Ghana. Yeah, it says we need to name and shame those involved in Galamsey. I agree, 100%. The number is on the screen. Give us a call. Tell us, maybe we can squeeze in 1 or 2 calls before we go. Talking of Galamsey, I'm checking out what is in the news as far as Galamsey is concerned. The BBC is reporting on it. So Galamsey, Ghana's illegal gold mining industry causes environmental destruction. That's in the BBC. There's a community called Atuna, described on Ghana Web as a humble Ghanaian community that is winning the fight against Galamsey. I like the sound of that. Afa Kennedy, a member of the MPP, back in the days, well, still a member, says Galamsey, we are beating around the bush. No party is committed to fighting it. In the graphic, you have a chief telling small-scale miners to unite to fight Galamsey. Dominic Anyini, former Deputy Attorney General, is backing a shoot-to-kill approach in the Galamsey fight. Wow. And there's a response to that already. Dr. Mensah Bonsu says the shoot-to-kill approach could affect innocent people. I need to speak to Dr. Anyini tomorrow on this, about the shoot-to-kill. Okay, all right. Tackling Galamsey is the key to unlocking sustainable economy, says the UN. And I'm going to move over to the birthday area to do some birthday dedications this morning. Okay, so whose birthday is it? Maybe I need to go and get my phone again. Okay, so who's this beautiful lady who's celebrating her birthday? So this must be the mummy of our own colleague, Thelma. I need to get her full name. I can't just call her mummy like that. So can we have Thelma's mummy's real name, full name, please? So otherwise we'll call her Mama T. That's it. That's your birthday today. Yeah, happy birthday to you, Mommy. Our condolences as well, because you lost your mom. And we just wish that she rests in peace. As it will be quite a very difficult time to celebrate your birthday this time, but at least we acknowledge that. So happy birthday to you. And this is Reverend Prince Henry, looking really, really regal in his kente cloth with his sandals. Happy birthday to you, Reverend. Wishing you long life, prosperity, and a life that is as glowing as the colors on your kente. Thank you so much. And for all of you celebrating your birthday today, this song is from us to you. Enjoy.